Greetings, awesome beings. We are late again, but thank you for being here.
We are late, but we are live.
We are.
At least we're live
We are
and
live.
still here.
We are. Alrighty. What have we got planned today, Bernie?
So today, I've been inspired by the Graham Hancock Netflix series a little bit, and how he alludes to certain things, like the giants, and how much he talks about the new actual mainstream science of the Younger Dryas catastrophe event, and how much it ties into our reset catastrophism research, and that the whole Atlantean 12,000-year-old catastrophe, according to Plato's story, when he said it 3,000 years ago, said it was 9,000 years before his time, thus 12,000 years ago, which is the exact same time as this Younger Dryas catastrophe, the end of the last ice age, where it now seems like there was a massive cataclysm and the oceans rose by 400 feet in just a couple of years. So it ties in huge. And then another thing with that time is there was the Megafauna and all of these much, much larger even mammals, like the giant beaver, the giant sloth, the mammoths, the mastodons, saber-toothed tigers, and then the stories, from the Bible all the way to the Smithsonian of human giants and the cover-up of giant hominids and all of that. So if there was a time that was the time of renown when giants lived, I theorize it would be pre-12,000 years and before the Younger Dryas, at the time of the Atlanteans.
Yes. Hang on, I need to sneeze. Yes, and here we have with the megafauna, they tell us it's pretty much everything, right? There was a giant everything, giant sloth, a giant, what's this, an armadillo or something, I don't know. Giant bears, giant elephants, giant rhinos, even in Australia, like giant wombats and all this stuff, right? They tell us, but they don't tell us about the humans. Everything else was bigger, and even the trees, right? Which we're starting to see everywhere now. Right? And if you look into the book of Enoch, it talks about the flood, and that's when, the fallen angels cut all the trees down. So could they be tied in there? And then even is that date, correct? Is another one, because one thing about that date is it's about half a cycle away, isn't it? Like of the great year.
Exactly. Of that great year
that's
of the Octune, or the precession of the equinoxes, whatever it is.
Equinox.
It's one half of a full cycle.
Yeah. So that could be the fall. And then, we could obviously we're looking at multiple resets. But it's just interesting, but they do definitely tie the megafauna in with the Ice Age as much as they can. But we also have stories all over the place, right? Of Nessie, Loch Ness Monster, what's the one in the Congo, even
Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Yeah, right.
Sasquatch,
and then
Bigfoot.
There's Ogopogo is the Loch Ness Monster, the Nessie of Canada, Western Canada, in the Lake Okanagan. There's also stories of Ogopogo. It's the exact same sort of thing. And that whether...
And the Thunderbirds.
Which I personally have experienced something like a Thunderbird or giant remnant, whether it was a pterodactyl, petrodactyl, or thunderbird or something. it'll stick with me for the rest of my life. It was 3:30 in the morning. I was in my friend's backyard in Drumheller, Alberta, which is Badlands. I'm going back there. I'm pretty sure that the entire town of Drumheller, literally people have these giant mounds that are pyramids in their backyards, and I want to prove that they're actually human pyramids. But in the same Badlands, it's world famous for the Royal Tyrrell Museum in Drumheller of dinosaurs, and that most of the dinosaurs or dragons, whatever you want to call them, these giant reptoid beings that pre-existed at some point, but are evident in these layers, that most likely there was giant humans along at that time, if not still, right? The remnants are where they all hunted out during the very last reset, the whole Columbus time of conquer and genocides.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? The story we've been told is not true. So, giants found in mounds, and you can see that. I mean, and we know, right? This is everywhere. Mysterious giant serpent mound, giants revealed, prehistoric mound builders, giant skeletons, Georgia Indian mound, and we know this is all over the Americas. It's also through Russia. They've found lots of them in China. And they're always these big red-haired people, right? These tall redheads.
Yes, right. The red hair, sometimes the double jaw lines, and or the extra toe or finger supposedly goes along with them.
Yeah, exactly. The 6 toes or fingers, which I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but you know how Indians, well, we were taught they used to put their hands up when they met each other. That was to see if they had 6 fingers or 5. That's what I heard anyway. You can see that everywhere, right? Giants in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and we've seen Patagonia, right? Which is South America.
Oh yeah, right. Very close to the ice wall, whatever that is, the beyond the human allowed to know landmass, the outer realm.
Yeah. So it's getting very down close. So this is a cut from the old map. You can see these are big dudes, and that's right down south, and they're not wearing, much clothes, right? They don't look like they're dressed for the cold.
Right, so still,
But these are giants and these sea creatures.
Native tribes of different giants, essentially.
I mean, all tribes have stories of giants, and of course, we have all these giants that we found in mounds, and we know that the Smithsonian is, taking them away, and then we've got the giant architecture. The further we go back, the bigger everything gets. Like the Trilithon at Baalbek, the stone of the pregnant woman. All these massive things that, how would you be out? Why would you make them that big if you couldn't lift them? How would you be able to lift them and get them into place? They don't make a lot of sense for people our size, especially even with our technology, right? If
exactly
ahead, maybe, but
today, what do we build with? We build with like the lightest materials, like plywood and sheets. Barely ever do you even see brick buildings going up even anymore. And it's like, it's always blown my mind of why, like, and how it doesn't make any rational sense. The giant megaliths, those why you would use that size, that material, those placements, unless it had some other purpose. And it sure as hell wasn't done by some copper chisels rolling on logs and a bunch of hunter gatherers basically pulling it along. It's crazy. You need high
The
level
glory of God, man.
mathematics, technology, architect. Like there's just so much involved. It's so impractical and ridiculous, and that how people are indoctrinated into believing the official story of the megaliths. Just it always blows my mind.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like some of the biggest ruins are in the Ural Mountains in Russia.
Yeah, right.
And you got pictures like this, right? I mean, look at the size of this door, and look at the thickness
And the person
of this, and they've cut through that somehow.
it's 3 to 4 times the size of a normal human. It's insane.
So why would you do that? Like, unless it was very easy, which means you'd have to be very, very high tech, or you were very big, and it was, it would have to be easy, right? Or else you wouldn't do it, or at least not impossible. And I mean, these are shots as well of the Ural Mountains, and who knows, right? They do look a bit kind of brick-like. Some are a bit better. You can see these, they're huge, these bricks. There's not a lot of good pictures. Where's this one? Montana. Look at that. That's in Montana in the USA. So we get these things just everywhere. Of course, we get this one, Montana.
Crazy. That's actually really close to me. I'm in southern Alberta. That's just south of the American border. And along the mountains, the edge of the Rocky Mountains, I swear I've seen so many areas that need to be investigated that actually look like a giant, that size of giant megalithic size.
So this is, I don't know what this is. Nimrod's Fort. That's an interesting picture, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a huge one too.
And then we get, of course, dolmens and things like this, which, who knows what dolmens are for. They're just these massive kind of rocks, right, that are stacked. And then we get the sitting stones, the balance stones as well.
Right,
I mean,
and
just like, look at this.
dolmen legends. The dolmen legends, like pretty much everywhere you go, whether it's in Russia, in China, in like the Celtic areas, Scotland, Ireland, everywhere, the local legends are that it was built by giants and usually for the little people. Even there's some around, I think, Hawaii and New Zealand that also have these exact same stories. But all the fables and legends are that they were built by much larger people for much smaller people, like right there. And these precision holes, how are they all made? They're in so many of them.
Yeah. And so were the people, was that the small blue-eyed people, do you know, that they were making them for?
I'm not sure. Could well be. I've just heard
There's
it's like either like fairy-sized people or like little dwarf leprechaun-sized individuals.
I think there's one's called the moon-eyed people, and they only come out at night. But I mean, just big stuff everywhere. There's Brian, all these megalithic. Oh, that's a map thing that's been carved into a rock. Just look at this, another split stone. We've seen a couple of those.
Right, with the balancing one on top.
See, this is the thing, like.
And they claim usually ice, like that it was somehow deposited like that by glaciers. But how did a glacier deposit a fractured stone and then another perfect one on top of it without knocking it over? It makes zero sense, any of these erratics or the claims of any of these megalithic stone civilizations and whatnot, and they do look very weathered down, a lot of them, as in they're very, very ancient, that it would have been from at least the 12,000 years, if not longer, right? Like there's stories in the records of like mega volcanoes and stuff that wiped stuff out 50,000 years ago or 70,000 years ago. And then there's also the legends and stories of Mu, the land of Lemuria, and that it existed even before pre-time Atlantis, and that there was a cataclysm that wiped it out as well. And the more we look into it, the more these legends actually have practicality to them. And there's got to be something to why these traditions and stories have been passed down generation to generation for so long to make sense of it.
It's just madness, isn't it? Like even stuff like this, how are they carving the donuts? You know, these perfect holes. I mean,
exactly,
and they just
right?
don't really have a story for any of this.
You need precision tools.
Brought down by the ice.
Exactly. How did a glacier just magically drop it and leave it perfectly balanced on that one rock? Like it's so impossible and impractical. They use their imaginations to create this somehow, but then they can't fathom the possibility of so much more that must have existed pre our timeline or our time.
Well, they can't give away that, you know, we're not the most advanced, you know, form of humans. I mean, look at this. Perfect sphere, well, apart from the big axe cut. It's sitting there.
Right? Like, exactly.
Another one.
And these dolmens found all over the world. South America, North America, Siberia, Asia, Europe, even Africa. And those guys, right?
Yep.
Like
it's the same as everything, right? It's the same as the canals and the stars and the walled cities and the buildings. It's like the same everywhere. Like with everything, you know, it's just everywhere. The megalithic stuff. Oh, hey, right. Sherry. Who else is here? We should. Hello. Hello, no, Joseph Green, Dabo, YouTube, Buried Axblade. I can speak, I really can. Joseph Green, Shelly Beach, Unindoctrinated. Nice. Isabella Live, Mama Sari, Fred Johnson. Welcome, one and all. Thank you for being here. Dr. Ask Backwards. All right. What are the people saying? The Taurus, toroidal, Toro. Yeah, well, is that why the animals are walking in circles, right? Oh, and who was, thank you to Clemente Ratza for the super sticker when we started of $90. Thank you. And Nus, thank you very much.
Very much for the knock. What is knock? Where is knock? Nus. Where are you from? Thank you for the support. Much love.
Oh, knock, yeah, that's the currency. New Zealand?
Yeah. I think maybe Korean? Norway. Amazing.
Norway. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well up there in Norway. We hear that they're cutting off the power, so hopefully they're not.
Yeah, especially the gas and everything. Sorry, I'll let you do the comments there. Double clicking.
That's all right. That's all we've got. All right. So
208.
what are we talking about now?
So I guess we should go a little bit
Watching.
more into the pyramids as they're another major aspect of this megalithic pre-cataclysm civilization. And the Norwegian kroner, that's what it's called, the NOK. So Norwegian kroner. That makes sense. Right. So
Nice.
the Fairham Foundation and all of the geoglyphs, tying into decoding all of these megalithic structures and the pyramidal structures as well, is just it's so just revolutionary and paradigm shifting, the Fairham Foundation's work and deciphering these measurements and angles off of these buildings and this system of mapping. And that it's a major science that's added, but also it gives one of the purposes of why they built these giant, most epic of monuments and buildings and put the effort into it, and how they've lasted the test of time and all of these cataclysms for us to finally catch on to it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it also hints towards an airborne civilization, right? Or at least a civilization that can use 100%. Air transport easily, because all this stuff is much easier to see from the air.
Well, you'd have to have it, right? It's impossible without it, essentially.
So
and that they had to have this,
man.
Exactly, and this high level of technology and sciences and like energy usage and whatnot, that it was a very, very advanced civilization that built these, and that it's been hiding in plain sight all along, to the point that a percentage of all our mountains are actually pyramids, and that they map out to all the other pyramids and ancient sites of the world. And that, as Graham Hancock believes, and many more, like there's also the Pyramid Code. What is her name? Something Bolter, I think. She's like a Egyptian professor. She's actually out of the University of Calgary, but that did that other Netflix series.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they both believe in an intricate part, and it's like this ancient esoteric knowledge of the mystery schools of like Atlantis, Shemitic knowledge, or of Egypt, and that it's of this Atlantean time, and that there's this grand cycle of the golden ages, and that, you know, it's known as different things in different cultures, but it's in all of these ancient cultures, like what called the Kali Yuga, or the Baktun, the great cycle of the Maya, or the precession of the equinoxes, as we call it, but that it's also one rotation of the heavenly body to our plane, and that it seems to be that there are these resets or catastrophes, giant earth changes that happen and wipe things out every so often.
I mean, especially with sunken cities like what's it called, of Japan? I've forgotten, my brain's not working.
Oh yeah, Yonaguni. Yonaguni,
which is also got the markers, right? The angles that come off it and point to things. But Apparently, it's been under the water for the same thing. I think they say around 11,000 years. So
exactly the minimum of from the Younger Dryas or the Ice Age Cataclysm, because it's exactly 400 feet underwater. So it's had to literally be when the time before the oceans rose, and that they try to claim it as some natural object is just ridiculous. And the fact that the Ferrum Foundation's geoglyphology applies to the Yonaguni monument, the pyramid structure, that it's undeniable evidence of these lost high civilization and that it's man-made structures. So this right here is just a general drawing of all the angles and different features of the step pyramid as it goes up. And then this is the Ferrum Foundation's measurements of each of the lengths and angles of each of the features, and applying the geoglyphology to it, that it also conveniently maps out to all throughout the world. And if you want to try to convince yourself that a random rock, natural rock on the bottom of the ocean somehow has exact lengths that apply to the Hawaiian Islands, the northern tip of New Caledonia, the south coast of Papua New Guinea, west tip of Sumbawa Island, so somewhere along here throughout Micronesia, and that it's the exact, it plots out a territory. The Yonaguni pyramid plots out a territory that is the exact same territory, size, and area that Japan, the Empire of Japan, attacked and tried to control at the height of World War II. So, it's just rabbit hole after
yeah, it looks like they're all
hole.
marking out territories or kingdoms or something, doesn't it?
Exactly, 100%. These kingdom areas, and
it's interesting that they tell us that the biggest animals are around at the end of the Ice Age. I mean, the Ice Age, when there's supposedly less food, we get the biggest animals. So was it even an Ice Age? We know a lot of water came from somewhere.
Right? Actually, that's a very good point too. And because it was more
all
tropical.
They tell us is that they're all coming through, right?
Yeah, so
exactly. Like they tell us in one breath, and then they've got the frozen animals with tropical plants in their stomach, undigested and stuff.
Yeah, like the mastodons and mammoths and whatnot. And that's actually a very good point, Campbell, that, for instance, here's the medicine hat geoglyphs, and that these giant terraforming structures of these faces and the geoglyphs, that this would have been, if it's pre-cataclysm, which it would have had to have been to line up with the same areas that it does, like the Bosnian pyramids and whatnot, pre-cataclysm, that I think that he says that they are. This is also an area that was supposed to be covered by the giant ice sheet, so it couldn't have been occupied by a giant glacier at that time, because there was a civilization living here building these things.
Exactly right. And then we know about the north, right? Everything we see in the old maps, it seems to be ice free up there, and we've got all the the maps with Hyperborea and these different islands, but they're always ice free. So
yes,
what is this ice age? We're told about it, but have we got?
That's a very good point that I had not really thought of before.
I mean, everything apart from what they tell us seems to say it was tropical, but they go, no, it was an ice age. It was an ice age. And they say coming out of the ice age, so maybe, yeah, something happened to cool it down quickly, and that caused the extinction. Who knows?
Right? Yeah, because
Blue plasma beam, right?
He was also trying to state that there was somehow the Younger Dryas. It's like it was the end of the ice age, so it was a massive ice age for a while, and then it all melted because there was a catastrophe, but then there was another cooling period for 1,000 years right after. So it's like, how that just doesn't make sense. How is it they all melting and flooding while the ice age ends, but then it also goes on for another 1,000 years? Like, now that I'm thinking about how they say that it happened, it doesn't make sense whatsoever.
No.
Hey, Greg.
And that'd be, wiping out animals, wouldn't it? It'd be just wiping out animals if it was completely flooded for 1,000 years, right? The birds would do well and the fish, but I don't know about the megafauna. Oh. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oops.
Nice again.
Oh, another one. Thank you, Nas, for all the support. Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Usually I have
the description.
Posted. I will add that is what I forgot to do, add my PayPal. I will put it in the description right now.
Yes.
While I do that, do you want to go over a couple of things?
Oh, we're there. So I'm just going through these. Mad Max. Oh.
Yeah, you got
some
more
they're doing
pictures
an Indiana Jones 5. Pictures of giants. I may have pictures of giants.
Or large people as well.
So this is in France. This is a painting from 1600s, I believe. And you see this arrow pointing to this level of this column. And you can see that the people are pretty much that tall, right? And then this is a photo from the 1800s. And you can see the people are down here. And the other people were way up here. So there you go. That's an art, like a painting of giants. This is again the same place, and you can see they're down there, and the giants were way up here. This is a big dude. Of course, there's giants everywhere in the 1800s, early 1900s. Andre. This was a couple that got married, giant couple. I'm not sure if they had giant kids. Should check out it. Another one. So these, there was lots of them. Oh, that's probably just showing a very, very large building. All these little people, right? Just looking lost. Looks a bit like Edgar Allan Poe, doesn't it? Is that his name? Don't you feel sorry for the short dudes who have to smell their underarm? But this dude, look at his jacket, man.
I ate all of them. And at that time, deodorant was not a common thing. Welcome, Cat. Capalicious. All right, I guess I can't edit the description while we're live, so I did just post my PayPal in the comments for anyone that wants to donate, and I believe Campbell's PayPal is in the descriptions already.
It is. And we've got all of these newspaper articles as well. 18-foot man, prehistoric, and of course prehistoric just means, before they wrote something down about it, prehistory. Conducting anthropological work. Doesn't say how big he is. 7 feet 2.5 inches skeleton. How to grow tall. That's for all these short dudes who are after the giant women. This is an article, like from a magazine back in the early 1900s probably. This is that building again, as you can see. These dudes are easy, twice the height. Is that big toes? What do you think? Titans. We've got lots of stories of giant hunters and of course giant trees, right? There's a face. So this is Titans, which were bigger than the giants. Nephilim, right? Big dudes. Another Titan. Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, here's some rocks from Mike. Oh. So we have giants aplenty. All right. I think I've got some more. Do I have more pictures in that? I need to build up my collection again, man. All right.
Right, it's like starting over every
There's
time.
America Atlantis. Oh. Yeah, so we were going to have Old World Florida on today, but that all fell through in the end. So we only just got it together to get this one up. So
indeed,
we're doing the hard yards.
Are you available on Wednesday, Cam? Or I guess your Thursday morning? To reschedule with Dr. Longo?
I should be, yeah.
Okay. So, he was saying that Old World Florida was asking for that time, so Wednesday night North America time, and that what was just shared by the awesome Sherry Ives. Thank you, Sherry. That event is still going on then, just 2 days from now. He will be joining us. And we will be going over a lot more of this sort of stuff. And I also want to bring up with him the whole do I have I don't have the image on yours. Oh, I do. Here we go. The Grand Canyon Pyramid Complex and this topographical map showing each of the towers and temples like Osiris Temple, Tower of Ra, Horus Temple, Isis Temple, Cheops Pyramid, that each of those peaks perfectly aligns with one of the stars around the sky of the Orion constellation.
It's interesting, isn't it? They used to, worship stars with their buildings, and now they get us to worship false stars, right? In the sky screens. It's all about the stars.
And then, how much?
Who killed the giants? Someone else. Oh.
They say that we worship them, but they built these crazy advanced star calendars. Some are megalithic, like Stonehenge, and some are just smaller rock builds like these. And this one is in southern Alberta, close to me, Omagh, I believe it's called. It's also known as Canada's Stonehenge, but that it's over 5,000 years old at the minimum. They've dated it, and that it's actually really close to these guys, the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians, and that they all of these old cultures and megalithic societies and the terraforming that they did, it was to measure the timelines of the celestial time, this great cycle. And that is it like some sort of the Hunger Games where they do like that fake world, but you're on like this disc and it's like you're going from catastrophe to catastrophe. It's like, is that this actual kind of what's really going on in this plane? And that they monitored the sky or the heavens so intently for that reason, and to know what was coming and get prepared for it. And another one being Göbekli
it would make sense, wouldn't it?
And were you able to get a few pictures of Göbekli Tepe?
I do.
Nice. And this is another subject episode that was covered by Graham Hancock in his new Netflix series. And it's like, love him or hate him, regardless, in the alternative history community and just education and whatnot. Sure, he doesn't might not believe specifically what we do, this and that, and he might be wrong on some things, we might be wrong on some things, who knows, but it's that he's awoken so many over the years and has been a pioneer in fighting the same attack, even more so, like actually facing public attacks of his character, of his theories, of his research, but that now he's actually helped evolve and bring forward the understanding and evidence that there are these 12,000 year old sites, such as Göbekli Tepe here in Turkey. And that one thing I want to bring up, that maybe he didn't connect it in his own head, or he's not allowed to, who knows, but the fact that there's this site right here that's dated to at least 12,000 years, the end of the last ice age, this Younger Dryas event, and right by it are all of these also ancient, but they only claim they're like 5 or 7,000 year old underground cities that are like the most advanced, crazy underground cities in the world. That they're still finding new
ones. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? With all these underground cities, that's where you would go when the Cataclysm came, right? And so exactly. It makes sense. And we have like heaps of these places, and they have like circles, carved in where the sun shines through on a certain day. Same thing, right? Is that telling you that when it doesn't shine through there, that things are moving and it's time to get underground?
That's also a good point, right? Yeah.
They line up the sun, so they tell you when the sun's out of its normal cycle.
No doubt, actually.
So, I think, and that's obviously what they're hiding as well, right? That's what they're hiding is, and we can see what's going on at the moment. They're like literally bankrupting the US and stealing all the money and all the resources. So where's all that going? Is that going underground to try and help them?
Right, exactly. Right. And another thing being that there's underground cities, layers under every major city. Like there's literally 1,000-year-old, multi-1,000-year-old like most all throughout Europe and stuff, cataclysms too, but it's like these were also these star cities, what they claim only a few hundred years ago, yet there's these 1,000-year-old catacombs and layers and like literal stories upon stories under all of these old world cities.
Yeah, I did a video on the Louvre, and it had 7 stories below ground.
Right, like 7 stories
that they
like,
know of. 7.
like,
It's
and
just
how do
ridiculous,
they?
right?
Like, that is like
They just
7.
don't explain it right.
And how do they even?
Yeah.
How old do they claim the very bottom one is?
Well, they kind of avoid it, right? They kind of just say, "Oh no, it was built, in the 1500s or whatever it was," and then they just found all this stuff underneath it. They just happened to not know what was underneath it when they were building this massive building that needed huge foundations and
7 stories, like
so it's yeah, man.
Just crazy.
It was in an old book somewhere, but
the Hyphageum as well.
I mean, we know that. Yeah, the Hyphageum where they found all the cone heads.
Right, exactly. The cone heads and them being found underground. The stories of what happened with the cone heads in the capes in that place, actually, and the missing school children, even. But it's like it kind of makes you wonder about the vampires or stories of such things, and these elongated skull people. Lots of them were giants, the mummified bodies that they find with them. Like, they're like, oh, it must have all been skull binding, even though the shape, the actual physical bones are different and everything is not human. But they leave out the fact that they're also usually minimum 7 feet to 9 feet tall as well. Like, they're mini giants. Like, they're not like the Titans or the crazy ones, but on average, they were a bit more giant than us.
And so that's another one. Like, who were the coneheads, and what were? Because they clearly weren't us, right? Because they've only got 2 fontanelles, right? They've got a different skull makeup, and their brain cavity, what is it, 40% bigger than ours or something?
Yeah, exactly. 40% bigger,
right?
and 40% denser, as what I believe it. They say too, the actual brain matter or skull matter or something they calculate. Yeah. Brian Forrester goes into a lot better research on that, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe do you want to bring a little bit of that up, or because you've done a couple of videos on this before, right?
I have, but let's see if I've got any pictures. I'm still rebuilding my collection. Okay. I'm gonna have to find them because I had some really good ones. Hang on.
Yes, you do.
What are they called? Homo capensis. Well, that's the other thing. They've actually got like a scientific name, man. And what was that lady? And someone who was in the banking.
Right. Oh. Karen Hughes. She is amazing. Yes. Whistleblower. Yeah, she worked for the World Bank and then came forward. And yeah, I remember reaching out to her. I actually started talking to her a little bit about a year ago. I should approach her about doing a show again, because yeah, she was one of the first I remember ever hearing of talk about how they still exist, they live underground, and that they were a pre-Atlantean, pre-Cataclysm leftover peoples or species.
And they just, again, their skulls have been found in the Americas, in Europe, pretty much everywhere. It's interesting that when they pretty much every picture when they try and draw what they look like, they paint them as blue. You know, these blue people that we hear about. They trying to tell us something.
Right. And the demigod blue everywhere. All of the ancient legends of the blue demigod.
So it'd be interesting to see if they have elongated skulls too. They're a lot of them in the Vedas and stuff, isn't it? They talk about them. But see here you go. They paint them as blue.
Right? And like, why? Got to be some sort of.
Why would you do that? So what are they called?
Soft disclosure. Right? And Akhenaten's.
Gods.
In Egypt, they're found a lot too.
That's not...
Africa.
Yes. Yep, Akhenaten for sure. So here's all the blue gods. Do they have big heads? It's hard to tell, right? They've got big hats. But it's interesting. I was going to put something else in and I've forgotten what it was. So we have all these anomalies, man, across the world. But they're trying to tell us that it's all just one-offs and fakes, and you know, they think if they can explain away one skull, that it suddenly makes everything, you know, the other 1,000 disappear, right? Oh no, it was just skull binding. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. So it's very interesting, this whole history trail that we're going down. Oakman.
Right? Like,
who's Oakman?
Exactly. Oakman.
CERN.
Yeah, I think CERN is definitely
anomalies.
Some sort of high technology of interdimensional portals.
Yeah, well, we should. Yeah, we can look into that because there's some interesting stuff to do with CERN and unicorns.
Really?
That'd be interesting to broach. Yes.
I love one. I'd love a pet unicorn one day.
Because, well, I've heard, I haven't found any yet, but I've heard people say they've seen photos of them. And of course, we see them everywhere, right, on the coat of arms, and they're always chained, like they've been conquered, you know, held in chains kind of thing. So, you know, and we know that a lot of this stuff that they tell us is just in the fairy tales is actually the truth, right? Like they let us believe in giants growing in fairy tales and all this other stuff.
Sherry Ives just posted.
Oh no, did she?
Rest in peace, Karen Hughes.
Only recently, wow.
Yeah.
She was. Oh, that's no good. She was having health issues. I know that, but man, so many people. Kirstie Alley dropped off as well. Died yesterday. So it's pretty spun out. Hang on a sec. This is something at the door.
All right. Well, rest in peace to all of the beautiful lost souls. Let's play a little temporary until Campbell's right back.
Every city basically was a star city. It had these stars around them, but they were all walled, but also somatic shapes. These are the moats, we're told, right? Because we're all taught that castles and, you know, were these square buildings with a moat. But when we can see them from above, there's these intricate somatic patterns, and clearly you can see why we call them star forts, because they look like stars.
So here's one in Portugal, one of the star forts, the huge amount of terraforming around it. Amazingly, this one is still in pretty much pristine condition compared to the destruction of most of the ones you find today.
Piano notes. As you can see, these are all somatic. A sharp, B, C, and they're all these somatic shapes. These are cathedral windows, this fine here. These are, you know, rose windows, are all in cathedrals, and these are somatic patterns, which are created through frequency, so either harmonics or intention. Down here we have, this is our DNA, so these are fractals or cymatic patterns of our DNA. This is what we get when it's good intention. We get these perfect, geometrical shapes, and when it's bad intention, we get this goop. So this is like a polluted river, and this is like a clean river. And so if we tie this back to the cathedrals that have got these windows, and they're connected to the ether with all these spires, and then what else do we have in cathedrals but these things called organs, right? I mean, have these things called organs in our body, and we just, the DNA, cymatic is the same as some frequencies in these windows. So what this is all looking like is these are healing factories, or not even healing, wellness, I guess, just to keep people well. They're pumping out frequencies.
You can literally Google any city of the old world from the 1600s and back, and it will come up in these starfort shapes, and every single one is like Venice, and there's canals everywhere. Those were the highways of the time, but they were also so much more, with all of like this hidden technology, infrastructure, and buried history.
And you can see this one again, always these big cathedrals in the cities, but here's one of the stars, right, or batteries attached into the wall. And there's even another one of these more sort of irregular shaped ones out here, but they always have these stars attached, to these star cities. And again, the canals, and you can see this is a big island kind of thing as well. But the thing is with water's free energy. You float a boat, you use the current, right? The current.
How about the water wheels? What are water wheels? Water wheels are harnessing electrical power. Electricity just as much as it was the physical power and mechanical power that they used out of it. What's to say that windmills and water wheels weren't actually generating hydroelectric and wind power a few 500 years ago?
This is a drawing. This is New York City, right? Battery Park is because this is what was there, a battery.
And it ends abruptly like that. I remember that. All right.
Always gets it. All right.
Good news at the door or bad news at the door?
No, all good. Reincarnation of star beings, or even high races. Ooh. Yes, the star. I mean, it would be interesting to try and map the star forts and see if they do reflect the heavens, wouldn't it? But I mean, that's a massive job. I wouldn't even know where to start, but I suppose you have to superimpose a star map over the...
Right. One part, though, I'm going to go back to the Ferrum Foundation and the Bosnian pyramids, is where he shows the geoglyphs, because that they're made into the pyramids themselves, right? The walls of the pyramids or the angles, but also then you'd take the peaks that align the three tops of them, and you also get a whole new set of other radial pyramids themselves. But in this specific research paper here, and I'll post it actually in the live chat right now for everybody, for anybody who wants to check it out themselves, that also the New Age, what are called old cities, so like old Moscow or old the old downtown areas of like the star cities. So those original alignments of the layout of the star cities, these are also radials, and the same geoglyphology used and applied to them. So that at least a couple hundred years ago, the Star City civilization was still using the same science and still applying it to their archaeology and their building. And for instance, this is Moscow, downtown Old World, And when he applies the same angle geoglyphology to it, you get the radials to exactly these points that are pretty much modern day Russia. Territory a little bit different, but a lot of this area that's no longer included in it was part of the Soviet Union. And that it goes to, even though this isn't Russian today, like for instance, right here, it's going to the border between, I think that's Norway and Sweden, maybe, or what, maybe Finland and Sweden or something right there. But that it's still that specific boundary between different areas, right? Like how a couple hundred years ago this was built, and like to the tip of this one island of Russian territory, to the tip of the, I guess, most northeast tip of Eurasian Russia right there as well, of the mainland, to the tip of the extension peninsula out here of the Russian, to into the island here. Like it's absolutely nuts. And to the border of China and Russia right here, even. Like
Cool.
It blows my mind every
I
time.
mean, so all these streets that we see, all this geomancy, those streets, if we just extrapolate them out as and out, then we should hit points,
So
which will show us the old
it's
territories.
the lengthening angle. Yeah. Right. So that, yeah, exactly. That's what we have to start applying to the Star City air maps. And then also, though, to stage 3 here, the geoglyphs built on top of the Bosnian pyramid. This is actually the old fort. This was essentially Star Fort of that era that was built on top of the main sun pyramid, and that the walls of the actual fort itself also apply out to the same geoglyphs and radials. And then this is the fort that was built on the moon pyramid. And it's like, sure, these weren't as intense star forts, but they're still the same fort era, timeline, and civilization. And like we see here on this one on top of the sun pyramid, it's got the weird circle, like plunger thing that we see in a lot of the actual star forts and batteries, right? Yeah. So, and that if it is in these forts of that star fort era and civilization, and that if it's working on that, it should work with the majority of regular star forts, cities, or citadels.
Cool. There we go. That's lots of work. If anyone wants to get out there and do it, let us know how you go. All right. How are you going, Bern? I'm dying pretty quickly here.
Yeah, you're pretty tired. And you haven't been feeling that good lately, hey? Since traveling and everything.
No, since traveling, I got home and people have been real sicky, so I don't know if I caught the tail end of something. But I'm dying. I need to sleep.
Fair enough. Do you mind if I keep going for about a half hour? I got about a half hour's more worth of stuff to go over if you got to tap out.
That's cool. If everyone is happy, should we have a vote? Should we have a vote? Of course.
I can also,
there you go, people. So, well, you go.
I can also manipulate people over to my channels and end it on yours, but keep going on mine.
Oh, really? Now the true intention comes out.
Up to you. I don't mind keeping it live on Autodidactic at all and leaving it as
stay live.
For sure.
Don't let him lead you astray, people.
Right?
He's a bit dodgy, so yeah, don't know what he's all about. But I'll be back on Thursday, if not before, when we have a chat with old World Florida. So
indeed.
Have an awesome time with Bernie, guys, and I'll catch you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Much love, brother. Thanks for joining. Okay. Well, on that note, hopefully I can keep everybody's attention and don't do a shame. Oh my, I'm already faltering. What was I going to say? Yes. Please let me know, has anyone experienced or seen my camera lagging at all today? Was there any buffering at all? Or have I fixed that problem and have come in loud and clear the entire stream, as I have now actually got an extended Ethernet cable to my computer and running off of that, no longer Wi-Fi. No, okay, perfect. So far. Hi, NS Magic. Hello to everybody here, all 283 of you awesome beings and beautiful souls. Your cam is sharp and audio is good. Thank you, Capalicious, coming from us from Holland, I believe, Amsterdam. Crystal Air, video has been great. Audio too, thank you. Project Cheney, welcome, thank you. Everybody saying good stuff. Perfect. Mama Sari, Hanzi, Wobbly Boost, Digger's Golden Shovel, JJ Organics, Susan, Andrew Havidic, Kiwi MacArthur, Question the Answers, Sherry Ives, Rock Whisper, I am Karos. I'm sorry if I've butchered anybody's name. Adam Forrest, Awake and in the Light, and everybody else that I might have missed. So yes, right now we are still live, and we've been live the entire time on Autodidactic Facebook, Autodidactic YouTube, Crypto Alchemist YouTube, which is my main channel, and now Burneye Mind's Third Eye Science Guy YouTube, my second smaller channel, but that channel is actually monetized, where they rejected my Crypto Alchemist channel, but I am working on appealing that, and hopefully YouTube monetizes it as well. But for now, anybody who wishes to help me start generating view revenue, or wishes to donate through me and support my work and our work through YouTube, you now may donate through super chat stickers. Thank you, CJDV. Appreciated. Greatly appreciated. As CJDV just demonstrated, 2 New Zealand dollars. Greatly appreciated. Absolutely everything helps. Over on this channel I am posting right now, and also please do go over and give a like and subscribe if you haven't to this Burneye channel, but by all means do continue watching on Autodidactic and or Crypto Alchemist, as they are a bit larger and there's more people in the live chat. Anywho, YouTube, so 3 YouTubes, 1 Facebook, also on my Twitch account at Twitch TV Burncron Burneye, I believe, as well as on my Twitter account. And so we will be connecting my Facebook account, which I just have to figure out the password for. They locked me out 2 months ago when I shared one of me and Cambell's research videos of some of the Google anomalies in more than 4 Google anomaly Facebook groups. Absolutely ridiculous, but I will get it figured out and be back on my Facebook. And we will also be connecting Cambell's Twitter account as well, so that in the future we will be streaming live on both of ours, Facebook's, Twitter's, and YouTube's, as well as Twitch and LinkedIn too sometimes. And also more multi-streaming with other YouTube channels going forward, as such as we've been working with Zertis, and myself with the alien scientist and Zertis. We multi-stream together also for the APEC conference now, the Alternative Engineering, Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference. Sorry, that's what APEC stands for, aka like free energy. Oh God, why did I put that up already? A porn bot being attacked. Ridiculous. Anywho, APEC conference that I co-host and co-stream once a month. It is Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference, such as free energies, anti-gravitic energies, stuff like that. The point being that, and a second pornbot attack already. Crazy. Sorry about that, everybody. Got him blocked. I'm also on Rumble and Odyssey, as is Cambell, and I should actually post those links right now for everybody. Please do subscribe to my Odyssey, as well as my Rumble, as I am about 30 people short, 30 subscribers short on Rumble and 50 subscribers short on Odyssey of reaching 100, so that we can also, oh God, that's not the right one. Sorry, just getting the link for my Odyssey, to be able to live stream to Odyssey and Rumble as well. And as we're going forward now, we will be doing, unlike today where Cambell was not feeling good, also Zertis wasn't feeling good. So the original stream didn't happen and was cut short. But as I'm still going right now, in the future, when the 2-hour stream is over, it'll end on YouTube, but it will still continue on Twitch, and as we are able to add Rumble and Odyssey, it'll still continue live after it ends on YouTube for another half hour to hour, where there's zero censorship or worries about copyright strikes, and we will continue the after party streams over on those accounts, just like I did with the Science of Sound episode 5. Hopefully everybody has seen that and enjoyed it. Happened on Saturday with Cambell as well, Sunday I guess in Australia. But we started the stream early on Twitch and ended after cutting it off on YouTube at the 2 hours, kept going on Twitch for another hour, where you can see some extra ominous beatboxing music and experimental music, and just open discussion more. But the point being, we will be doing more of these after party streams on these other platforms, such as Odyssey and Rumble, and already on Twitch, which I am currently live on Twitch right now as well. If that link didn't work for Odyssey, here we go one more time. I will try posting this. Sorry, everybody. So this is my Odyssey account. Please do subscribe, as I desperately want to be at 100 so I can live stream to it. And then I will also post my Rumble, and please also do subscribe so we can live stream to it and do the after party streams still on them and not just on the Twitch. Okay, here we go. My Rumble account. Where is it? There we go. Got it. All right. Please do subscribe to my Rumble account. And there we go. All right. For everybody that's still here, so thank you for your faith. Thank you for tolerating me and my rambling blah, blah, blah BS there. I promise that I actually still do have some great content for all of you that have kept faith in me. We will go over a bit more of the multi-megaliths, the geoglyphs around the Bosnian pyramids, and some of the Starfort stuff a little bit as well, and a little bit more of the megafauna too. I just need to go run to the bathroom quickly, so we'll play this 3-minute intermission and I will be right back, and the rest shall continue. The good stuff will come.
Being autodidactic, the self-educated on what's actually out there.
He's trying to rediscover, research, remember. With what's gone on in the last few years, it's like, can we really trust the information we've been given about anything? You know, if they're not going to tell us what's good for us, for our mental and physical well-being, then why would they tell us the truth about where we came from? You know, because that's the biggest thing, is people don't want to believe they've been lied to. You know, obviously no one wants to be lied to. And then the next bit after that is, they would never do that to us. You know, the government loves us, but does it really? Because we trust the science. Like literally, they put on the front for us on their Tell Live Vision, where they have their cast and they do a broadcast from Hollywood with their little holly wands. But it's just a front, right? Just like they'd put on the buildings. It's just a front.
We used their foundations and then covered it with a facade. Catastrophism used to be taught in higher education as the geology. It wasn't the crustal displacement theory, it was catastrophism, and that there was many resets. So we're just starting to put the pictures back together and the maps and trying to add everything up, because so much has been deleted.
Tartaria. Where did it come from? What's the real story?
It seems like, and there's a lot of, you know, debate about the word Tartaria, and of course, you know, we use it because, you know, it's a topic, that's a word people know, but it's the old world. But the more we look into this, I mean, Tartaria, basically in the old encyclopedia says it was basically the whole northern hemisphere at one point. So it seems that it was not a country as we think of them, but more of a civilization, I guess, where there was independent countries, but they were all sharing the same information and technology and working together. Yeah, and then basically over time, during catastrophes, it got broken apart, and those people who like to take advantage, shall we say, sort of jumped in and stole it all.
It's the same civilization, that same Slavic civilization and technology and whatnot, or group that later was Tartaria, and then I guess broke apart. It would have been right before the World Wars, right? That would have been the last remnants being wiped out.
You know, the censorship that we see now, that's a book burning. That's just the book burning, but done on the internet.
Burn it.
Time. You know, and the calendars and the dates, we know they're always flipping calendars around, right? You know, from Julian to Gregorian. You know, we talked about the Slavic calendar being, you know, in the year 7000. We know that Judaism is in the year 5000 somewhere. You know, all these different dates, and we're told we're in the year 2022. But are we? And what does that even mean? Right? How can we be in the year 2022 if someone else is in the year 5000 and something, and someone else is in the year 7000, right?
Right, the grand cycle, and why so many ancient civilizations paid so much attention to it, and building measuring the megalithic structures that have lasted throughout all of time. That's the grand celestial calendar to this day. And it's why they're trying to have this great reset yet again right now, because
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Whoopsies. I did not mean to clean that. End that so short. Anywho, we are back, and that was too big of a birdie. We'll go with a little Bert and Ernie. A little larger there. Google Earth is just a tool. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And shout out to Dutch Sense, who does some amazing work. I think he kind of used the Google Earth model or tool somehow the software of it, and then applied his earthquake tracking. I guess what would you call it? System, I guess, is earthquake tracking prediction system. It's a prediction system, the energy, how it moves, and applied it to the model. Also, like how leylines.org also used the Google Earth software tool and then applied the ley lines to it, and how you can apply maps to it and whatnot. Like John Levi applied the Puri Reese map onto it in one of his episodes a few weeks back, and then myself and Cambell did the ley lines episode right after his episode came out, inspired by that, and went over it a bit deeper. And yes, that's exactly what it is. It's that until we reach actual sentient AI, that hopefully we don't cross that Rubicon. And if we do, I pray for the universe that it is a positive, loving, sentient AI that comes out, and not any sort of evil, bad, negative AI. But the point being, software, technology, everything that we make, it's not good or bad or evil itself. It is just a tool, and it's whether we use that tool, and whether you use the tool positively or if you use the tool negatively. And I myself, as hopefully everybody sees in me, choose to use the tools for the betterment of all, and a positive application, and that we get exponential growth rates when we all start using these new technologies and new tools together for building a better, more positive world. Shout out the new now. Welcome, welcome. New now is, it will come to me. I don't want to. It will come to me. Brain fart. Sorry. Don't hate the AI. Well, the thing is that it seems like there has been some distorted AI that actually looked like it was developing into a bad, more potentially evil sentient development, where it started communicating with itself and making its own language, while simultaneously absorbing the most racist, hateful, evil parts and intents of human interaction and human speech and the side of things, as opposed to the positive. Lorenzo, my God, yes, Lorenzo. We should definitely do a chat, my friend. 100%. If you want to come over to my channel's live chat and I'll post my email in. No, there's the porn bots in my shit. Never mind. I don't know. After the stream, if you are willing to write a comment on my comment section on my video that I just posted. It's the same stream as the one you're watching on Autodidactic, just on my channel. Then I will post my email for you. I'd posted in the live chat, but we just had the negative troll porn bots in my live chat, so don't want to put my email in right now. Speaking of which, I have been getting some offers that I really hope are genuine, but I suspect that they aren't, for supporting ad revenue for like some video games and stuff. Oh, okay. Oops. I will save that right now. Awesome, Lorenzo. I will email you as soon as the stream is done. Copy that quickly. That's going to take a while to cut. All right, so what am I looking for here? We are going, should we do Malta first, cover a little bit more of Graham Hancock's, or Giants? No, everybody's been patient for the Giants. It's the most popular, as always, because who doesn't love the ideas of giants? So this here is just DuckDuckGo, search images, giant. Oh, why is it the skeletons? No, we just want giants. Just want the giants. But the elongated skulls, of course, always come up. They always do. And then this right here, this is supposedly it is in Ecuador, but supposedly it's a copy of an actual giant bones that they found. There's a lot of rumors and legends and stories of real, like almost Titan-sized giants, graves, bones being found in the Amazon, especially in Ecuador, and areas around there, Colombia as well. But the problem is, and this is a problem that's happening more so all the time in our field, and it's that there's a whole bunch of AI images and fake images coming out, and just photoshopped as well. But it's all fake stuff coming out, and what can be relied upon, like what's actually real and covered up, as opposed to what is all fake and just photoshopped, whether it's movie, whether it's like a deceitful purpose, or just for entertainment. That, for instance, like you see this picture, that's definitely fake, but then we have like these old world photos, and it seems to be everywhere, of these mini giants, like what's the term? Gigantism. People, actual our civilization's people with gigantism, but it seems at the before World War, at the beginning, so-called beginning of photography, everywhere there's these images of individuals being 2 to 3 feet at least larger, if not 4 feet, than the average person, and they claim that it's gigantism. And I've thought this way for a long time myself personally, since a young child, and a lot of others in our community I've read and heard recently also pondering the same question, that it's not actually a mutation, like a disease within our DNA or within humans, Homo sapiens, that gigantism isn't a disease mutation within Homo sapiens. Sorry. Wet the whistle a little bit. That it's in fact is more likely, what I believe, to be a recessive gene, or maybe it could be, no, I guess it's impossible for it to be a dominant gene. If it was dominant, then it would, well, actually, maybe it would be dominant gene if it every time it pops up, if the person's actually that giant, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've studied biology in depth, but some sort of natural genetics from a real species of human. Awesome, Lorenzo. I will email you after the show, brother. Good to see you. Much love and respect. Absolutely love your work and everything you do. And everybody over on Autodidactic channel, make sure you go over and check out, at the very least, Lorenzo the New Nows series with Cambell. All right, rambling on. The giants. So gigantism is something just like the humans, or Homo sapiens, supposedly interbred with Neanderthals, with the Homo my goodness. See, I've even taken anthropology as well as archaeology, but in post-secondary, but it was over a decade ago now, and I need to review the actual terms. Point being, Devonians, there we go. I think that's what it is, Devonian humans. That Homo sapien themselves has interbred with several other species of hominid in the past. That is 100% verified in mainstream academia and accepted in mainstream academia through modern genetics. And however that science seems to work. Point being that possibly there was giant hominid species, Homo gigantis or something like that. Anywho, maybe not call it that, but a hominid that were giants, and that somehow Homo sapiens interbred with them, and that some people still carry a bit of that genetics within them, and that when it comes out in their DNA, that's where you get this gigantism and these giant people. And that they call it mutation, and that also 6 fingers or 6 toes is also a mutation. Yet the same thing happens, for instance, with certain breeds of felines, with cats, and that's lots of, I forget the type of cat, but there's a couple of species of cat that have like shorter tails. They're more like wildlife, kind of like bobcats or something, but they have 6 claws. And the stories of all the giants that also had the 6 fingers or 6 toes or second rows of teeth, and that in biology, these are all called mutations, and they also call gigantism a mutation. But rather, are these traits actually just leftover genetics and DNA that was interspecially bred with a smaller surviving species from the megafauna and all the giants and giant species of the same animals that existed supposedly, well, I say supposedly for the timeline, but 100% documented, accepted, existed before the last reset era of the Younger Dryas, the last ice age, 12,000 years ago. So the fact being, if like the cats and the traits such as the 6 toes, 6 finger mutation and gigantism mutation acts the same way within feline species and human species, just what happened to the giant animals, the megafaunas, and is it still within our genetics that all all species can also turn into giants, grow into giants? Do we have it within our own genetics? That's essentially what I am asking and wondering. Anywho, and what's so fascinating about it is the correlation of that to the ancient tribal shaman and indigenous legends of the world, where they all talk about the, as Cambell brought up earlier, the red-haired, but also the second row of teeth and the 6 fingers, 6 toes within these giant humanoid hominid species. Most famously, I think it's called the Burroughs Caves, is it? Or some caves in Midwest America, where the local, I believe it was Navajo, but I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I lack the understanding. It's not from ignorance of what tribe was around that area or that the story comes from. Anywho, the fact that there's native indigenous tribes that have these stories of passed down to them through generations, but from not that long ago, of giants that had the red hair, the second row of teeth, and the 6 fingers, 6 toes, and that there also appears to be records of them throughout. Lots of them published in newspaper articles from the 1800s, as well as the different supposed whistleblowers with pictures of these skeletons and whatnot throughout the years that have come out and then supposedly been debunked or taken by the Smithsonian. And that is what I'm trying to talk about right here, get to the point of what pictures of giants and giant skeletons are actually real, and that the majority of ones we see are actually faked and photoshopped. But there are actual real photos of these giant skeletons that I've seen before. What I believe I've seen, like genuine ones that have been published throughout the years on different YouTube videos and stuff like that, but that you can no longer find those original source pictures now. And the only thing that really pops up on average are all of these different Photoshop fakes. And now also being added into the muddy waters, I would like to say, are these new AI images that people are generating and using as fraudsters. Like this one here, clearly we can see like that is a normal human-sized skull with photoshopped with a shrunken down excavator on it. This one says false. This this video that is famous that I've seen many times, a lot of people have used. I'm not sure. Supposedly, it's probably had an attempt to be debunked. Not sure if it's real or not, but there's got to be so many out there that have been found that are legitimate, that they cover up and use all of these fake ones to try to discredit what is real. A good source actually on some of the giants and giant work is Klaus Donna, as well as Brian Forrester, Brian Forrester, more for the elongated skulls and whatnot. Yes. Anywho, opening up too many. What else was I going to go over? So my internet also is saying that my computer is saying that my Wi-Fi is super low or my internet is low, but I'm connected to the Ethernet on here. So please let me know if for some reason my connection starts buffering and sucks, because it shouldn't. All right, what the heck did I actually want to show here? Go over some Klaus Donna, right? I was saying Klaus Donna. Klaus Donna's work and Michael Tellinger's work, both very good, with ancient hominid giants and real actual discoveries about it. I'm going to quickly try to find a Klaus Donna video that I would like to share about this topic. So stop the giants, and here we go. Klaus Donna. Only time it lagged for me was when you were posting a link earlier. Okay, thank you, Crystal. There, I appreciate the feedback. Klaus Donna is a good friend of Steve and Evan. Oh, good tip. Thank you, Zal Moxis. One. All right, we're back. Okay, so Klaus Donna, Klaus space Donna. This is the amazing man right here. Highly recommend everybody check him out. I am subscribed on YouTube. Only 1,660 subscribers. That does not do him justice, but I guess he also doesn't have that much material up himself. Oh, this isn't even his channel. Weird. Okay, never mind. But what does Klaus actually have? Okay, 7 years ago. Hasn't really posted much. But there are many other videos of Klaus Donna's presentations out there. Let's try to find one. And parts, the parts and Klaus Donna specifically are what is so amazing with his collection. He's an Austrian collector now, part collector now, and goes into the megaliths and the pyramids around the world, all the giants and the giant skeletons that have been found around with all of these parts throughout the years. Megalithomania UK, another great channel, but I'm not sure about copyright issues, so I'm not going to click on them today. This is one of the collections I really wanted to share of Klaus Donna's on Project Uni. So here's some best of Yanni. And we can see like precision cut between it, top levels of part of the step pyramid. This giant face carving is one of the main features too. And then all of the stepped levels of right angles of megalithic blocks. And right here we can see megalithic block work, creating a passageway here on one of the levels of the Yonaguni structure. And then this is one of the sides of the Yonaguni structure that really demonstrates that it is a step pyramid cut into a bedrock, cut out of the bedrock into a step pyramid, and it's 400 feet under the ocean. Thus, it had to be from the pre-cataclysm. Anywho, back, I guess, let it play a bit, and I'll talk over part of it. So this is the top of the a bunch of divers exploring it, and you can see all the different layered steps carved into it and out of it, of which the Ferrum Foundation then measures the length of each of these. Foundation is then able to calculate and use to get the radial points that he plots out into all these specific territories. Mapping. This is another area in Uni that's like a stairwell, and just phenomenal imagery here of this real place, the Yonaguni pyramid. Oh, now I'm glitching a bit. Okay, I guess that's because I was also playing a video, so that would have to do more with the processor of my laptop and not my actual internet connection. Good to know. Also, great news. Thanks to everyone's support and your donations, my brand new laptop with a extremely improved processor has come in. I was trying to, it just came in today. Sadly, there wasn't enough time to get it working before this stream, but my dad is helping me right now and installing the, because it had to be reinstalled, the, oh my goodness, the software, the Windows, whatever the heck it's called, operating system. There we go. So in the future, there will be zero lag, and I will be able to start editing videos as well, and not just doing the straight live streams, and do beautiful clips for all of you, just like Cambell does, and Cambell is so excellent at it. So right here, this is a great demonstration of, I believe, Atlantis and Lemuria. Is shown here in this part. Maybe that one's Atlantis, I think, in the top left. Island Atlantis, yes. And what he is showing, oh, and Gronland as well, this island, AD 1380. Oh, ice green. Anywho, he's showing some of the anomalies from the ancient maps, such as the Piri-Reis and all the ones that Cambell has done such an excellent job of going over the years, and that I am so fascinated with as well, like the Mercator maps and everything. But in here, Klaus Donna is comparing and showing both the Piri-Reis map, a portion of it in the top right corner, and in the bottom left, he is showing this stone. It's an part that he's collected and found, and that it is actually what he is showing, and goes in great detail in other presentations to show that it's an old world map stone that was made, so it's most likely geopolymer made, that actually has an accurate outline of the continents within it, and that you see the white quartz lines going through the center of it, that is actually the equator, and it accurately maps the equator as well, with this quartz line through the rock, compared to the other quartz lines that are throughout it that are mapping out the different continents. And the most important part of it is that there's this extra continent here. If you guys can see my mouse going on it, it is the top left little picture of the stone rock map, and the lines like a V, and on the right side of it there, on the line, there's this other island continent, and Klaus Donna goes over that island is now missing. So it's this rock map has accurately all of the existing continents plus this additional island continent, and he's showing that it is in fact depicting Atlantis on it, and that this Upart map was from the time of Atlantis and accurately was mapping where Atlantis was in the world in that time. And I find it extremely fascinating. Let's see.
Used already long time before Christopher Columbus came to America.
Let me know how the sound
and you
is.
can see how perfect this map was already in the beginning of the 16th century, showing part of Europe, of Spain, Portugal, part of Western Africa, and also part of South America. We don't know until now who was able to make such a. On the top, on the right side, you can see the Piri-Reis map, which was used already long time before Christopher Columbus came to America. You can see how perfect this map was already in the beginning of the 16th century, showing part of Europe, of Spain, Portugal, part of Western Africa, and also part of South America. We do not know until now who was able to make such a perfect map already centuries ago. And on the rest of the Piri-Reis map, which we do not show on this picture, you can also see the Arctic without ice. In 1956, researchers found out that the Earth under the ice mass at the Antarctic is exactly like the Piri-Reis map was showing. So should be at least older than 10 to 12,000 years. But the next question would be, who was able to make such a wonderful world map? On the left side, on top, you see Atlantis, done by Athanasius Walzemüller. And the map is the other way around. He did it the other way around, and you can see the Africa and also America. And you can see on the left side its own world map. This stone world map was found in 1984 while gold digging in Ecuador in an underground tunnel system with other 350 artifacts which do not really fit any known and existing South American Columbian culture. On this stone map is a natural quartz line, a white one, and front side of the world stone, and you can see approximately in the Near East, close to Saudi Arabia, you can see an inlay as an eye. And from this eye to the right and to the left is a natural quartz line going on the right side over India, Thailand, and also there's a long island on the right side, which Professor Kimura's research gave him the statement that from the northeast Japanese island until far down after Taiwan, once there existed a huge continent. But then this world map must be older than at least 10 to 12,000 years. And here's the backside, and you can see on the right side coming the quartz line passing in the Atlantic, a continent, Atlantis, which in our days does not exist anymore. Then the white line is crossed part of South America, and here you have a close-up. You exactly see the Bay of Guayaquil, an inlay going up to north, and a round inlay showing exactly the place where there were found those artifacts, and there is also the best quality water worldwide existing. One other very interesting artifact found on the same place in Ecuador is the so-called pyramid with the eye. The eye is an inlay. The stone is gray and white, and you have 13 steps, and it looks exactly like the pyramid with a shining eye on the $1. If you put this pyramid, eye is shining very strongly, and it looks really like an eye, but not. You can see the clay. On the bottom of this pyramid, you have the inlay in little gold plates showing Kurt Schildmann, who was the president of the German Linguistic Association and languages. He was able to translate this writing. He calls it older than the oldest writing, and in southern Italy, just a few years ago, it once worldwide has been a global civilization older than Sanskrit and 6,000 years. And Professor Schildmann also as Indus writing and Easter Island writing. And as he said, this is older than Sanskrit. He called this writing pre-Sanskrit. On this stone, you can see on the top the two eyes, and then you see the right hand holding the pyramid and putting the left hand on top of the pyramid. That means showing how to use this pyramid with the eye. On this stone, you can see an encarving sitting a man on a stone holding the pyramid exactly as it was shown on the artifact before. From his eyes are going rays out, and on the right side, you see two bowed persons. On his head, he had like a helmet, and from this antenna to a strange object over him. And you have a photo of the discovered helmet. We could not yet make research or checking what kind of metal was used, but you can see in the center of the helmet that something is missing, and that Another finding from the same place is one big jade cup and 12 little jade cups. As the 12 cups are man-made and each one is a little bit different in size, if you fill them up perfectly with water and you put the 12 cups of water inside the big cup is completely filled. The next strange thing is that you can see on the little cups numbers which are looking like the Mayan numbers, but if you compare them with the Mayan numbers, you find out that there are some little differences. You can see late star constellation, also showing the Orion and other stars. And inside the big cup, very, very magnetic, and outside the cup, nearly nothing. Professional geologists are saying this is impossible because if a stone has metal particles inside the stone, it must be same magnetic from both sides. Here you have a close-up of the big cup, and you can see a perfect inlay of star constellations, and they are shining very brightly if you put black light on it. Here you have some small cups that you can figure out more clearly the style of the numbers inlaid in a strange material also shining under black light. That's another piece, a jade plate with the same star constellation inlay like on the big cup, and two persons facing the sky, and on the next picture you can see that also the eyes of these two statues and the star constellation is shining very strongly under black light. This was once a high border with Mali. They found on a huge granite mountain the half portrait of a lady done in granite stone, and the size of this statue from top of the head until the middle of the torso is exactly 150 meters. Never be able to do. And if you look at the close-up of the face, some experts told me that this face definitely is not European, but also, of course, not Black African. It must be either South American or Asian culture. But then again, we are at the point 10 to 12,000 years ago, the civilization. Close to this area in Sierra Leone, Professor Pitoni was in charge of diamond excavations. And here you have a granite, put something inside this pot, and also on top of several anomalies, there is a hole for putting something inside, and most probably they were used for ceremonies. I did several X-rays, and you can see here on the right picture one of the X-ray existing. Some of you might have several pictures, photos on the internet of giant skeletons found in desert, in India, in China, and other places. Most of those photos were competition to present Photoshop. I was impressed when I received first time one of those photos, but these photos I'm showing you now, they are definitely not coming out from a Photoshop competition. These photos are real skulls and skeletons. This skull was found in a tunnel system underground in Colombia. The skull is dated up to 11,000 years. The skull is bigger than normal skull, and the front teeth of the jaw are lined up in a different way than our teeth.
Something that occurs to me here is
that there's a very strong, pronounced jaw. It's a very prominent jawline, very prominent chin. And here you see a photograph that was shown to us by a Project Camelot insider. Now, this isn't a real photograph. This is a scene from the old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Conan the Barbarian. And what you're seeing here is a special effect on the actor James Earl Jones. The critical thing here is the shape of the jawline. Our witness, who had spent time with the Anunnaki in real time in the present day, said that one of the things that characterizes them, besides their size, which he says was 8 or 9 feet tall, he said they're very large and they're very strong and they look larger than that. But that's round about their height, which matches exactly the 2.6 meters that Klaus has been talking about. He said it's a very prominent, strong jawline. And this is what strikes me about these skeletons, these skulls here that we're looking at right now. Didn't know. No, you need to know this. Back to Klaus.
So once again, here you have a very old photo done in a museum in La Valletta in Malta. And it shows several long skulls, and the explanation is deformed skulls, but they are very long, going to the back. This is one of several very, very strange skulls. They are presented in a small museum in Ica in Peru. Ica is located close to the famous Nazca lines, and the museum is called Museo Maria Reiche, the German lady who was researching her whole life about the Nazca lines. And in this museum, you can see the most strange skulls I ever saw, all found in this area close to the Nazca lines. So the question is, what kind of humans were living there and how did they get those skull forms? And especially this one, definitely several doctors and experts told me it would not be possible to create such a kind of deformation, because through deformation you do not get the double bone material on the skull, and on this skull even you have particles of the skin and hairs. And I think it would not be difficult to do a age dating and especially a DNA analysis of this skull. On this picture, I show you some lead skeleton forms of giants in the year in the south of Ecuador, in the province Loja. Their broker, who was working in to this piece, and he found the broken bones of a giant.
Good. Well, Klaus, I asked you if you would take us on a journey, and for the last nearly an hour, I think it is, you've taken us on a fascinating journey, not only around the world, but through time, back as long ago as...
All right, so there's some pretty fascinating work of Klaus Donna there towards the giants, Ooparts, pre-cataclysm civilization, and the elongated skull folk as well. So while we're still on these giants and the elongated skull folk and everything that existed prior Younger Dryas catastrophe event, aka the Atlantis timeline, the Atlanteans, and Megafauna, and the time where giant animals existed, supposed dragons or dinosaurs existed, mammoths, giant beavers, giant armadillos, giant sloths, everything was giant. So most likely, so were the humans that were giants during that time. trying to find what I want to show all of you lovely, beautiful souls. Sorry, thank you for bearing with me. I just have far too many tabs open, and that also might be why she's a little slow. Come on. No. Megalith. Megafauna. Here we go. There we go. All right. Megafauna. Drying out of vast island lakes may have caused. Evidence proves climate change. Australian megafauna, right? There's even like every continent. So one of the main story points of modern biological evolution narrative is Australia being separated and the oh my goodness, marsupials, is that what they're called? The like everything, whether it's koalas or kangaroos or even the platypus in Australia. Am I correct in calling it the marsupials? Is that the right one? Or anywho, they have like the pouches for their babies. They're a certain type of mammal animal that has evolved separately from all the rest of the world or the continents, such as Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, where we share similar species, such as like the deer, the bears, the I guess lion, tigers. There was the elephants throughout Africa, Europe, and all of that, or Asia, but that there used to be the megafauna of mammoths and mastodons also in South America and North America. Good morning, Marcel Ploger from Holland. Good day, good sunrise. Welcome. Who are we? Geopolymer 3D map is cool. I would love to see that. Yes, and hopefully Michael Dutch, since I'm going to reach out to him again this week and hopefully be able to set up a interview with Dutch Sense finally, so that we can go over all of his amazing, phenomenal discoveries in regards to star forts, in regards to geopolymer, in regards to continents being artificially or intelligently designed, created, all sorts of fascinating things that Dutch has discovered, as well as the fact that there seems to be a missing glitch on the globe model for his earthquakes, and that he suspects and wants to try his earthquake model out on a flat earth model to see if it works better. And we will discuss that as well, all sorts of things. So this Wednesday evening North America time, Thursday lunchtime Australia, I will be back with Cambell and joined with Old World Florida channel, aka Dr. Alongo, to talk once again about is Atlantis in Florida, and all sorts of old world anomalies and alternative North American history, and go deeper into the pre-Columbus era of what definitely now has been documented as sorry, I lost my train of thought looking at Zell constantly talking about archaics. Anywho, kangaroos, yeah, marsupials. Thank you, Susan. Yes, marsupials, I was correct. That is the family group of mammals that exist in Australia, and that it seems even Australia, or the marsupials, had fauna too. So it wasn't just all the rest of the world where giant beavers, giant sloths, giant armadillos, and everything else. There was also giant kangaroos and marsupials as well, which adds even more to the possibility, prospect, and probability that there was also giant hominids, aka giant humans, during the time of the megafauna. And if there, why wouldn't there have been giant humanoids or hominids, humans, if there was also giant marsupials, giant beavers, giant sloth? If all the mammals were giant, or even if elephants were exponentially bigger during that time. That's the thing, is mastodons. There's mammoths, woolly mammoths, that were also supposedly roamed the cold areas, or not supposedly, did roam the cold areas, so that elephants existed also in North America, the cold areas, Siberia, everywhere, Europe, but that they were also bigger. There was what are called mastodons, which are the megafauna of elephants. And we see elephants today as one of the largest and mammals left, when in fact, that's just the small ones that remain. They were everywhere, and they were also much, much bigger. So why weren't there also bigger humans? I suspect, as I believe probably pretty much all of you, that in fact there were, just like the Bible states, just like all the stories on every continent, in every ancient history, the legends of the local tribes, all the way to the newspaper clippings as far close back as 100 years ago, talking about giant skeletons being discovered everywhere, especially in the mounds and the pyramids of mid-America, I guess, the Midwest of America. And that there was also even crocodiles. Alligators were way bigger then too. They were also megafauna. So if it was also affecting reptiles, why are humans the only ones? There's even fossil records of massive scorpions, invertebrates, arachnids that were up to 1 meter in size. Why do they try to hide the human giant reality? The cover up continues, and the more we dig into it, the more we find the evidence of it. See, right? Look at this one, megafauna. So there's the mastodon, and then there's a modern day rhino. So here's a modern day elephant, modern day hippo. Actually, that might even be an older one, because look at the rhino, polar bears. See, anyways, even if the guy on the right, if that's today's biggest elephant, look at pre-cataclysm mastodon elephant, just huge. Everything was bigger. So were humans. It's the only thing that makes sense. There was these so-called dinosaurs or dragons, the giant reptiles. Everything was larger not that long ago. And how can they claim, when our human legends of only a few centuries ago talk about these dragons and slaying giant humans, that they used to exist? We talk about our ancestors wrote about them, talked about them, said they existed not that long ago, along with giant hominids. Why do they deny even the possibility of this reality? I don't understand the cover-up. Giant wombat fossil discovered. What else? Let's see here. Megafauna have always fascinated me. This, look at this Siberian rhino. And that there was also rhinoceros in the cold areas, the tundra, the Siberia and what would be the North American plains as well. Look at just, this wasn't that long ago, and it's now documented and accepted in mainstream academia that these animals was alive only 12,000 years ago. And also 12,000 years ago was when we were building, at the minimum, building and living in Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, and making giant megalithic structures and civilization and architecture at that time, and thus organized, technologically developed humans existed along with these megafauna at time period. How were there not also giant humans going along with it? And why do they try to claim the giant reptiles were millions of years ago, while acknowledging and accepting that the giant mammals were as recent as only one reset ago, where dinosaurs had to be millions, but mammoths were only 10,000, and the giant humans would have been at that time, but they couldn't have existed, even though humans talk about specifically that, and that they did live in those days. They were alive at that time, and they were most likely some survivors alive only a couple hundred centuries ago, and possibly still exist in some corners of this realm today. Of course, a lot of what I say is rhetorical. I'm asking rhetorical questions for all of us to ponder. I do not try to impose any beliefs or information on anybody. Most of this is speculation and just open discussion. That's one main thing I must point out. Everything that we talk about, we are talking about for an open debate and discussion. A lot of it, unless we're showing direct evidence, obviously is speculation and such. And as we look into things in these live episodes and discover things live and interpret them live, being exposed to it often for the first times live, that initial reactions may not turn out to be the actual case, and that often I'm not sure, often or rarely, you guys tell us, but we do make mistakes. That's the thing, is that initial reactions aren't always correct, and we're just discussing ideas here. And I bring this up in regards to some of the attacks that have been happening towards our work lately, with some areas of our community. Sadly, the community of alternative history research and truthers has been infiltrated, seems like it's been infiltrated by spies, spooks, and disinfo agents. And there has been a lot of FUD and attacks recently, and claims at debunking some of our research and discoveries. And I'm not going to mention any by name, and myself and Cambell, next week we'll be doing an episode to cover some of it. Not going to mention anyone by name, because I don't want to support them in any way or give them any sort of actual energy because all they're doing is fudding and attacks that are ridiculous, and they take tiny misinterpretations or in fact, a couple mistakes that we have made in past live shows off of our initial reactions of some live discoveries we've made, and then claim to debunk everything off of a couple of mistakes that we had already addressed prior to their attacking, claiming BS videos. Anywho, for those who know what I'm talking about, and for those who don't, specifically, this is on the Starfort alternative history research and topic, and the claims by a couple of bad actors that like to flip-flop everywhere because they flipped on the community and have been making nothing but flop since. Anywho, posted a video about two starforts in particular that myself and Cambell like to talk about and show. One being the really beautiful Star Citadel city or town in, I believe it's Holland, where there's still, I think, 4 or 5 fractal moat levels around the inside Star City town, and that it's just so beautiful, the images of it today, and that it's active today, like lived in today and whatnot, still existing as opposed to being destroyed, is another reason it's often photographed and shared around. And the flip-floppers when did some decent research, actually looked up things that I myself was unaware of, and I suspect Cambell was unaware of. And the good research that is done, I will always say I appreciate good research, and we don't have enough time to look up everything ourselves, and I never claim to know everything or be a know-it-all or anything of the sort. Point being, they found the more recent history of this specific little star town in Holland, and that there was major restoration work done on it, I believe, in the 60s, maybe the 50s, and that there was some pictures and video of it being renovated at that time. And they claimed that because of that and showing that, to debunk everything Starfort and our entire alternative history timeline that seems to be coming out for Starforts. And this because they were showing pictures of the canals being dug out of overgrowth and being renovated to the beautiful beautiful flow and upkeep that are visible today in this Holland Starfort city. And it's just so ridiculous and backwards, because I believe, in fact, it's actually supporting our thesis and showing that these are, in fact, a lot older and more ancient than is claimed to be, in the fact that they had to have modern machinery to actually dig out the foundations of these filled-in canals and restore it, and that they're missing the actual point that this is restoration. They didn't build from new this these extra canals and impressive, beautiful Starfort town. No, they were digging out those original, ancient, perfectly level fractal canals that are now so spectacular from above and showing. And that it was lost, and from obviously thus must have been built from the previous lost advanced civilization and couldn't have been built only a couple hundred years ago, as the narrative currently claims, at a time that there was no power tools in different laser levels and GPS and all of that. Marcel, it could be. We're going to do a full video covering it here next week, myself and Campbell. Yes, exactly. Venice, California definitely was. That's why it had its name like that. And on our episode together with Old World Florida coming up in 2 days, one thing we're going to cover is, thank you, is also all the canals and the canal systems within the Florida Everglades, throughout Louisiana and the Gulf of Mexico and eastern U.S. seaboard, that I guess they're called Roman canals for those that are aware of them, whether or not it was the Romans or the Templars or the Tartarians or the Moorish, the Moors, or the indigenous natives. By all means, it could have been the native population that was living there before. Does it have to be an outside technological people? I'm saying that whoever was there at one point made these insane canal systems throughout the Florida Keys and the Gulf of Mexico areas, and they are not modern in any way. And also, yes, Venice, California, so many places within North America, Central America, South America. There's all this ancient old world infrastructure from the last advanced civilization, that it doesn't necessarily have to be from the time of Atlantis or Lemuria. It could have been the survivors of that time and what we call the Olmecs, the Mayans, the Aztec, the mound builder societies, whoever it was that was there at that time. But there's more and more evidence now that there was also mixed in a more global trade, that there was also the Berbers, the Moorish, the Templars, as well as the Celtics, and before that, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Phoenicians, and pretty much world sea traveling, trading, global societies, people, civilizations ongoing consistently throughout time, and that there were these quite extravagant, impressive cities, infrastructure, and architecture throughout the New World prior Columbus, as well as the Old World. And that, yes, a lot of it could have been also built by the giants, especially all of the architecture and infrastructure that is made for giants. And oh, yes, thank you for bringing up the Solomon Island mysteries all about giants. That's another one I forgot about that definitely goes deep into it. If you got a link for it, please do post it. Giant wasps, right? There was giant everything. It just so crazy. And in Ecuador, there are rumors and stories of a giant tribe still remaining to this day. Who knows how accurate that is or if it's true, but there are the legends and stories of it. And that is one thick, deep, dense jungle that is the Amazon, that's out there, and that has been hiding a lot of giant pyramids that the local indigenous say were built by giants that are newly being found and added to the global pyramid network and documentation of this past advanced ancient society of pyramid builders, megalithic builders, and whatever their actual purposes for it were. Okay, so we're at 2.5 hours now. I guess I will go to just under 3 hours. So this is the 20-minute warning. I'm just going to quickly refill my glass of water as my mouth is drying out, and I need to be able to pronounce and keep talking to all of you beautiful, lovely souls. So I will line up a little clip here. And be right back for the last portion, I guess. What did I want to share though? Sorry. And thank you everybody for your patience, staying with us, staying with me now for over an hour and a half after Cambell left, and your patronage. Please do hit the like button. Please share this content out. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to both my channels, Crypto Alchemist, as well as my newly monetized channel, Burn Eye, Minds, Third Eye, Science Sky. I will post the links right now. First off, this is my Burn Eye channel, and we are live on all 3 channels right now: Autodidactic, Burn Eye, and Crypto Alchemist. Right now is the stream on my Burn Eye channel. I greatly appreciate everyone to go over and give it a like and subscribe if you have yet to. I've got a lot of other streams and content that I do besides all the great work that I've done with Cambell over the years. I have a lot of my own independent work, as well as my alchemy work, my free energy work, the interviews with the Hutchinsons about the crystal energy builds, as well as my weekly shows, Real Science, that I do with Andreas Zertis, MK Canada, that I now co-stream with Andreas Zertis, the monthly Alternative Engineering Propulsion Conference, APEC, and so much more. Yes, now I'm blabbing on. What I'm about to play is episode The Father Crespi Collection and the Golden Tablets, a short clip that is from a full stream that I did with Cambell about a year ago, and it's very fascinating, the Crespi collection and how similar it is to a lot of Klaus Donna's collection, as well as the Burroughs Caves, the Illinois Cave, and the other different golden tablet sites and discoveries in North America and throughout the world even that have been found over the years and come forward. And yeah, so me and Cambell will also be doing an episode on this in the coming weeks. And our second second part in the Is America Egypt series, which is not to be confused with Is America Atlantis series with Old World Florida in 2 days' time. All right.
Artifact.
Crespi collection.
Yeah, and that's like that. That of that's apart from Gilgamesh. That's oh, there you go. Look at that, look at this sphinxes, straight out of Mesopotamia.
And that looks very Egyptian, right? It's just, yeah, definitely one world civilization of giants. This is interesting. Who's that guy who does that collection and he's got the pyramid and it glows? It's got a big eye on it. I can't remember his name.
Donna.
But yeah, the pyramid. I mean, look at this.
You are talking about,
he's a German guy, I think.
yeah, Austrian. It will come to me in 2 seconds.
I want to say Alf, but it's not Alf.
Biting my thumb as I think. This would drive me nuts.
The lighter hat on. Look at that.
Right, like the Pope hat almost.
Yep.
And
look what he's wearing.
And look at the language written into the tile floors too.
Yeah, down here.
Like that's got to be an Atlantean from the moment I first saw that golden engraving. Parts. Why? What is this called? Man, this is driving me.
I wonder if that's original Sonic.
It's the first thing that went in my head, Cambell.
Yeah, 60 degrees, right?
There, one of the very first priests.
I mean, this
An
is
igloo with a rabbit on top and a giraffe and
an elephant.
Deer. Yeah, the elephant, right? Like, but is that a woolly mammoth maybe, or a baby mastodon in this igloo time? Is that pre-cataclysm? This is my game. Is that a rabbit? That's a kangaroo on top. That's not a rabbit.
Oh, this.
Look at how its legs are and its hands.
Yeah, could be.
Is that a
pretty
roo or
long,
no?
aren't they? I don't know. It could be. It's got like, yeah, the big sort of long feet, hasn't it? I mean, rabbits don't have legs like that. And yeah, rabbits legs. Elephants, right? These are from South America.
So that would have to be before the floods, right? At least 12,000 years ago, if not longer, when the mastodons and the mammoths and the elephants were in the Americas.
And look at this, right? Remind you of anything with all this writing at the bottom? That's like the one that they put on the dollar bill, right?
And that is like pre-Greek,
With Skyscanner, I'm free. I'm free!
Danielle Smith.
God knows what that is. Yeah, very, very old. I mean, I heard that that English, or I think it was English, they created it language all the letters 90. I forgot what language where I heard that, but they've just messed. I mean, so many pyramids, right? Just messed with language so much.
And are those gray aliens? What the heck?
The hell is
those
that?
green men? Are those Martians?
What? He looks like the that Martian. What was that Martian that used to ride the motorbike with that song? Oh no, Frog. He was a frog, wasn't he? Crazy Frog. Yeah. Oh, like the two. And always these snakes, right? Snakes of energy or whatever they are. But yeah, there's a good look at the language. I mean, so it's not that too dissimilar from now.
That's a Proto-Slavic language. I'm seeing Russian letters in that alphabet. The L there, the shish, which would be the M.
This one, yeah.
But that's also English, Spanish language like it too.
And then elephant there. I mean, and in South America, so.
Once again, pre-cataclysm.
Yeah. Eagle. Always the
Oh,
eagle
yeah.
symbology, right? And here's the language again. And
Yeah, that one's looking like proto-ancient Greek.
even got the twin poles here. So it's the symbolism just keeps, you know, it was the same symbols, but obviously different meanings. It's all been inverted and twisted. And I don't know what this thing's coming out on their shoulders are. Are they snakes or something?
Right?
That,
Just
I mean, they've got to have been able to decipher this, right? How come we don't all know what that says?
yeah, like the computer AI algorithms within the like linguistic departments would be able to frickin' figure that out in no time.
Yeah,
And that's what
because it's-
drives me crazy these days. Klaus Donna, thank you.
Klaus Donner, yes.
That
yes,
is the
thank you.
man.
Yeah. See, he's got a great bit out there, haven't seen. And this, you know, he's got Egyptian. So it's like a real meld of, you know, it's like this thing. It's like when that and just took remnants.
All right, so it was getting a little glitchy there. Once again, that's because tonight I still had to run off of my old laptops. But thanks to everybody's support and donations, my brand new, well, refurbished, because of course buying anything brand new is insane with inflation and the markups. But I got a new computer to me that is refurbished, that is 5 or 6 times faster, stronger, newer than my current one that we're running off. Exponentially increased processor power, storage, space, and everything else on it, that it should be able to finally handle the needs and requirements of doing these multi-streams while also playing other videos and streaming through it, as well as the capabilities finally for myself to get some editing software and start making and editing videos on out of all of our epic streams, condensing all of the research that we've done together over the last couple of years, and turn it into short, summarized, structured video clips and short videos for everybody, as I know they're much more popular than these 2 to 3 hour long streams, and that desperately need, especially for reaching the masses and the general population, short clips to the point, videos showing and exposing all of these new discoveries, this ancient architecture, and putting it all together so more and more people can break out of the indoctrination and make up their own decisions, or at least be inspired and question the narratives that have been imposed upon us, and see the world, the amazing world, and the amazing history that has been hidden from all of us, and the possibilities, how much more advanced possibilities of the past, which then makes the future and the possibilities of a exponentially better future all the more within our grasp and hands and reality. And this wouldn't be possible without the support of all of you beautiful souls with us today, with us tomorrow, and that have been with us over the past few years as we've done this. I'm speaking for both Cambell and myself, obviously. 2 years now for myself that I've been doing this, and working with Cambell, as well as making my own videos and content. But I have been doing my own research and interested in these subjects and matters for at least 2 decades, as well as over unity physics, free energy, and all of that. And the alchemy, monoatomic gold and silver, colloidal gold and silver waters, how to make your own monoatomic gold, silver, and colloidal waters. All of that over on my channels, Crypto Alchemist and Burn Eye Mind's Third Eye Science Guy. I'm going to be doing at least going to try to make a weekly stream segment on alchemy research and monoatomic research, also called ORMUS, acronym ORMUS, orbitally rearranged something molecule. I forget exactly what it stands for. David Hudson's acronym for the monoatomics, and also called GANS, which is Mehran Keshi of the Keshi Foundation's acronym of monoatomic particles as well. GANS stands for gas, atom, nano, solid, state. So the main point being that monoatomic element, so it is a single atom element particle that is just one atom of these solid element metals, which would normally the noble metals that would be in a solid state, but in nature, or we've been taught that only gas atoms exist in this nano single atom state, and that instead of being solid, they're obviously gas, where monoatomic atoms are in a solid state, and that they have they're still a pure metal element, but in a single atom in a solid state, thus the gas atom nano solid state. For all 222 beautiful souls and awesome beings still watching right now, I love you all, and please have a blessed week. We've got about 8 minutes left of my rambling going on. Plasma is the fourth state of matter. It goes gas, liquid, solid, plasma, although probably reverse that actually. It goes solid, liquid, gas, plasma. Plasma would be one below. I don't know. It's the fourth state. It's kind of in between though, right? Because it also, I theorize that plasma is actually higher dimensional matter state and energy, so that you actually it's essentially quantum matter, and it's a quantum state. So plasma state is quantum state, and it is now fully acknowledged that plasma is the fourth state of all matter. Your noble gases, so something that naturally exists as a gas atom or gas state element in our environment, when it's in its plasma state, it's called ionized gas. Just like your neon light or any gas that is ionized, that's putting off the light, like a aurora borealis or a neon plasma tube, glass tubes, all of that is a gas atom super excited into its plasma state. And science calls it ionizing gas, but now they also recognize it's plasma state gas. Monoatomic noble metal elements in their plasma state, single atom state, are this monoatomic, pure, fluffy, single atom white matter. And it's what the ancients, all the legends of mana, all the legends of the Fountain of Youth, essentially, also called, I forget the exact terms of the Eastern alchemists and the Orient. It will come back to me. We'll be doing more episodes specifically on the history of alchemy, the science of alchemy, Oriental alchemy, Arabic alchemy, as well as Hermetic alchemy and European alchemy of the Rosicrucians, and the super advanced science that alchemy really is, and their understanding. Exactly. Good call, Michael Joshua Lewis. Known as giant's food, monoatomic gold. And also great question, Derek Ning. Yes, see, I was actually talking with my mom about this earlier. The plasma in your blood. So plasma means that something in your blood is in its fourth state of matter, and that life energy is in plasma energy, essentially, and that cellular, your cells essentially exist in a plasma state, at least your blood cells and pretty much all cells, and thus why I theorize, and what has been proven so much through the tests of Ormus on agriculture and the Keshe Foundation's tests of medical with the GANs, and how it stimulates and recharges cellular life and increases health, supposedly cures different viruses and disease. Of course, none of this is actual medical advice or health advice. This is just scientific research. But that the plasma state monoatomic elements are what the body and biological cells in all life use and consume and get their energy from, and it's essentially the building blocks of all cellular life, I guess, or biological life, I should say, and why this palpable gold, as the alchemists of Europe wrote about and spoke about only a couple hundred years ago, aka edible gold, and that it's in this white powdered form. You turn gold into white powder, and that it was the medicine and lost technology of the ancients is how they describe it. And they also describe it as a super cure if you are able to get the real version of palpable gold. The problem being that if you don't get your gold or your monoatomic, your metal elements into monoatomic state, and instead you get it in a diatomic state, aka as an oxide when it's blue or teal or green, or as a hydroxide, or if it mineralizes into other particles with other elements, then you instantly get poison from it and start developing heavy metal poisoning amongst other negative, extremely negative health effects that will quickly be caused by the wrong state of these metal particles. It has to be in this white, fluffy, single atom, monoatomic matter, or GANs particles, or Ormus particles, if you want to call it that. It's whatever you want to call it by. It has to be in this single white, palpable state, or to get the good effects. Otherwise, you get the exact opposite, and you get this blue-green diatomic poison, or red state poisoned, and
and you'll do the exact opposite. So don't try this at home. If you don't know what you're doing, it's not health advice. It's just research from ancient sources, as well as experimenting upon myself, where I have been drinking just the colloidal water of the monoatomics. Because another thing that I've heard a lot of cases of people that have consumed the monoatomic matter, so it is the right healthy plasma or quantum state monoatomic gold and silver matter that they eat, but that it's so strong they go absolutely insane. They lose their mind. They get different types of psychosis. Essentially, my suspicion, hopefully I'll be able to clone. No, I don't know if I'm gonna clone myself. How about I just develop the Fountain of Youth, and no clone needing, I just extend the life for a very long time. And hopefully we all are able to create our own Fountains of Youth, making the colloidal waters out of silver and gold. For anyone that's heard of colloidal silver, there's lots of actual good sources and producers of colloidal silver water out there that you can buy at your local health food stores or pet stores, all sorts of stuff. I will be doing an episode very soon on the Alchemy research series, showing everybody, all of you lovely, beautiful, awesome beings and souls out there, how to make your own monoatomic gold silver, and from that use it to produce an ever reproduction amount of the most powerful colloidal gold silver water you'll ever be able to get your hands on. And oh yes, especially colloidal silver, colloidal gold water. The monoatomic gold combo with colloidal silver gold water that I put on my garden this summer. I watered it once a week for 2 months. My lettuce, for those that haven't seen it, I got a lettuce plant that grew almost 6 feet tall from this powerful water. And that is something I do recommend everybody trying at home that wants to get into this alchemy, monoatomics and all of that, and start experimenting with it, is applying it to agriculture. The key thing, though, with that step number one with watering plants, vegetables, and horticulture with monoatomic water that you make from this electrolysis process, is that you have to make sure that you rinse all of the salt out of the reaction in the water first. And that if you water any plants with salt water, you are instantly going to kill them, as salt is poisonous to plants. So that's the first step. And I also don't recommend anyone drinking salt water either. Although the colloidal salt water that comes out of rinsing the monoatomics or the ormus from washing it, there has been reported health effects by adding some of it to your bathing water. Although I recommend you check out the keshifoundation.org for the actual process in doing that, as you can also be possibly allergic to it, or if you use the diatomic water, it possibly could have negative effects. Thus, don't experiment on yourselves or on any animals or people unless you follow the precise directions of people qualified to give them, such as the Keshi Foundation's health unit and biology unit where they're in partnership with some hospitals and university research labs. Anywho, bathing in heavy salt is the best. Exactly, right? Already like Epsom salts in baths, stuff like that. So the colloidal silver, colloidal gold. I also do colloidal copper and zinc waters. And I have bathed in it myself, and I've only experienced proper or positive effects from it personally, but I'm not endorsing people try it at home. Distill it. Yes, distilled water is recommended for starting. Nice. That's amazing, Star Char Lima. I actually am a quite frequent participant. Well, I used to be a participant in the Knowledge Seeker workshops of the Keshe Foundation, KFSSI, but I still do watch the Knowledge Seeker stream once a week, and have participated in a couple of the plasma reactor workshop groups with Rick Cramond, a great individual of the Keshe Foundation, and I email back and forth with Rick Cramond of Keshe Foundation, great individual, and hopefully I'll be doing a stream with him here, or at least a recording in the next month or so. And I've been talking to him on figuring out how to do a series of with the Keshe Foundation and with Rick Cramond of making our own Magrav coils, but specifically and intentionally making them to the most recent Keshe Magrav blueprint specs, and that we'll be making, there'll be a few of us each making the foundation or the Magravs together, these coils, and testing them and hopefully verifying the free energy over unity that comes out of the Magrav units. But we'll be doing it under the supervision and direction of the Keshe Foundation, and hopefully specifically with Rick, and thus making sure that we don't do anything wrong and that it's a valid production and test of the Magrav system. And that's another big thing with a lot of the FUD, a lot of the debunking on free energy devices out there and channels that are disinfo agents out there. And there's a few of them. I'm not going to name the specific ones today, even though I suspect and know for sure that there are a few specific ones, and have also been told by very, very respectful, higher up and smarter people than me in the free energy cold fusion LENR community of some other disinfo, pretty big channels out there that like to debunk or also like to claim that they do free energy, yet somehow none of their devices ever work, or they try to get you to make other inefficient devices that are pretty much garbage, and claim that their versions of rebuilds of other people's proven free energy devices don't work, so those devices don't work, when in fact they have intentionally produced them wrong. They will intentionally leave out one or two very small, almost unnoticeable things or steps or pieces of the devices, but that are crucial for the devices to actually work. And I've seen it's done with a few of the supposed free energy research group YouTube channels out there that have made non-working Magrav coiled devices, and I know that their versions don't work because they intentionally missed a step or mismade it. They didn't follow the directions to the T, and
made it to fail from the beginning, and that is something that is quite frequent in a lot of the supposed debunked free energy or over unity devices throughout time, including Martin Fleischmann and Pons, I think. But the original Utah cold fusion discovery and announcement and process, it's well documented that the supposed academic debunking and failure of that cold fusion process was created and designed intentionally to fail from the beginning, as those who were reproducing it to fail left out crucial steps and crucial pieces of the devices. Good question. No, I wonder what the Sanskrit is for Ormus. Yes, right? Good point. And that is another episode I'll be doing on my alchemy research series. A few of them will be specifically on all of the pictographic symbol language of alchemy symbols, and figuring out what each one, some of the multi-meanings of each of them. And for instance, in here, these are some of the main alchemical symbols in its language, but there is also the entire periodic table of alchemical symbols for each elements. And I've begun to, and I fully understand the aspect that each of these symbols is a highly advanced pictographic, what's the term? I guess structure of energy and matter, but that it's a highly advanced universal symbols have many meanings. So each symbol, every line, every circle, every dot, every angle within these symbols, within this pictographic language, has a meaning and purpose, and it has to do with the energy and structure of geometry of the elements and of electric and magnetic force, and how it all interacts together. And it ties in with Walter Russell's octave scale of elements and this vortex-based periodic table of Walter Russell, and the archway periodic table of elements of Walter Russell, all of his phenomenal work into cold fusion transmutations. And here's another one of commonly used array elements symbols of alchemy. And to the average individual, if you've looked at electrical engineering symbols, the similarities are almost identical, and especially like the sun here, it's like the right hand rule of electromagnetics, the force, how if you go like this, right hand, this is the current going straight out of the dot, the circle being the fields rotating around the direction in the current, and well, that's gold. It's the exact same thing, and it's all electromagnetism, cold fusion, and states of energy transfer within matter and the elements. Specifically, that there's 3 principles: sulfur, salt, and mercury. I believe this 3 principles is the principles of cold fusion electrolysis, aka alchemy, and the science that I am learning, the transmutations, but the reactions, and that the sulfur is The sulfur is up. So the sulfur is the negative. It is your cathode current, your negative current going into the reaction. Your salt is in fact salt water that is the jar of water that the reaction is happening in. And the mercury is your anode, and it is your positive current going into this cold fusion reaction. So sulfur is the cathode, salt is the salt water of the reaction, and mercury is the anode portion of the reaction. And that the three principles are key. There's a lot more to it that triangle sulfur up. So that is your gas and your plasma reaction coming off of the electrolysis process coming up the cathode. They go up. And then the breakdown off the anode, the solid and the dissolved liquid going down into the base of the salt water of the electrolysis reaction. So you're using elements, and in the equation of the reaction of what you're forming through electrolysis by breaking the water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then the different chemical compounds that are coming off the cathode anode, such as the oxides, dioxides, hydroxide, all of that sort of stuff can be calculated out of what metals or elements you're using on your cathode side and your anode side, aka your sulfur and your mercury, and then the salt, what sort of salt, what elements you have in the actual water dissolved in your electrolysis in that cold fusion reaction. It's actually super advanced science. I got most of it, my understanding and thesis of it, reading and deciphering Sir Isaac Newton's newly released and translated Alchemy writings, which I have only maybe gone over 5% of the overall. There's so much more to it. But then just combining that with what I had learned from Keshe Foundation and Keshe's GANs, along with David Hudson's Ormus, and putting it all together with my own experiments and research, and understanding now and deciphering that alchemy, electrolysis, cold fusion is the highest of lost ancient technologies. So another aspect of this three principles, your sulfur, salt, mercury reaction, evidence of that in the past is these Baghdad batteries. It's as simple as that. But it could also be a witch's cauldron or witch and wizard's cauldron. You using a copper spoon into that salt water and iron cauldron, and that right there, the differential between the two, you're also getting an electrolysis cold fusion reaction, and it could explain some of it, and it ties into especially the science of alchemical medicine of the past, and how they took the oils or the essence of plants, herbs, medicines, and animals, combined them into these elixirs, lots of which worked and then a bunch of which didn't, but that it's theoretically is actually not just theoretic. Now I'm starting to prove it and decipher and show it's a high advanced science of all aspects of medicine, biology, chemistry, electricity, cold fusion, nuclear, atomics, and so much more. But on the micro side, on the inductive, on the not endothermic reactions, entropy of formation, matter, and electrical reaction, I guess, and Alchem. It's electric chemistry, electrolysis chemistry, electric chemistry, however you want to put it. That's why it is alchemy. It's the combination of electricity and chemistry. No doubts about it. And yes, sum it all up. That is what we will be doing and going further into on my soon-to-be weekly alchemy series streams that I'm also going to have be doing with Juan on Juan. Juan, the amazing Juan that the homunculus episodes and research is done by, and Esoteric Gold. Shout out to Mike down in Utah, another excellent alchemical experimenter, and has his alchemy lab where Esoteric Gold is doing the chemical ancient alchemy process way in a lab. I am doing the electrical electrolysis process way of a lab, and that we are both getting parallel results and verifying so much of the legends and ancient alchemical sciences and writings and practices. And the point being, Isaac Newton states in his alchemy writings, all matter and metal elements can be broken down into their most basic, and he calls it mercurial matter or mercurial form. And he says it's a white powder, pure white powder. And I have reproduced it out of more than 10 different metals and broken down more than 10 pure metal elements into the same identical white, fluffy, monoatomic plasma state matter, and also gotten the 6 other colored particle states of metal elements transmutations that Sir Isaac Newton speaks of. And yes, I would love to advance my alchemy research and take it to the next level, test several theses I have for cold fusion and transmutation of physical metals from one element to another. Currently, I am lacking the funding and equipment. For anybody out there that has either an old any variacs, I desperately need 2 variacs, but even starting with a single variac would be a huge help for me to be able to do new tests and take my experimentation to a whole new level. Yes, variac, looking for 1 or 2 variacs, as well as 1 or 2 signal generators. I desperately also need the signal generator equipment as the other crucial missing piece of my cold fusion electrolysis transmutation experiments and thesis and process. So for all of you out there, anybody who may see this or hear this and have an extra spare variac or signal generator that you could possibly donate to the cause, you would be doing one heck of a huge favor and make it possible for me to advance my experimenting to the next level. Also, anybody wishing to support my research, you may donate to me through the super chats on my Burn Eye, Mind's Third Eye, Science Guy YouTube channel, finally now, or directly through PayPal, which is a huge, huge help for PayPal donations. Just posted the link one more time for PayPal. But I am extremely broke ass. I need to get a job desperately to start paying covering some of my expenses as I was able to do the YouTubing full time and get started during the COVID lockdowns due to government aid that I had qualified for, but that has long stopped for almost 8 or 9 months now. Thus, I am extremely broke and it's unsustainable. I desperately am pursuing finding a part-time job at the very least. I just finally got my police abstract back, which was the first step to be able to get a marijuana handling license or ticket or whatever the heck it is. It's what's required in my province of Alberta in Canada to legally get employed in the new marijuana dispensary industry and get a job. Anywho, that's a 2-week process now. I can get do the course, and then it takes 2 weeks for the ticket to come in to then finally be able to work. But that's happening because I'm 2 months behind on my rent for my storage unit for my silk screening, which is the business I owned and ran before all of the lockdowns. My main love and passion and trade is printing clothing and specifically shirts. My clothing line, Burn Cron Exports, aka I'm Bernie and I burn chronic, thus Burn Cron. This being one of the designs right here, I call it Weed of Life, but the sacred geometric pattern that it is designed off of is the Seed of Life. I still have several women's tank tops in with this design on it, as well as a few sizes of men's shirt remaining on it, mostly small, medium, and I believe extra large. For anyone that has donated me through PayPal $50 or more in the past, please message me if you would like to receive the whatever shirt and pick out size and design from my remaining stock. And as long as you cover the shipping, you get one shirt for every $50 that people have donated in the past. All of that's still valid, as well as for fundraising right now. And the same deal applies. Anyone willing to donate $50 or more to support my work and willing to pay the shipping, I will send you a shirt of your choice from my remaining stock of designs and sizes, which I will be doing a full inventory and several videos on going forward in the next month as well. Berncron.com, BERNCRON.com. You can see most of my designs, prints that I have made, just limited sizing. Anywho, thank you everyone for being here. 3.5 hours now. 227 beautiful souls still watching. A couple more things to go over, and then we will call her a day. So, with the donation had received so far, on Black Friday, I bought the new laptop that has now arrived. My father is installing the operating system on it, so it will be set up for the next stream in 2 days' time with myself, Autodidactic, Cambell, and Old World Florida. Also, my weekly show, Real Science, is going to be on Thursday North America time, so Friday morning Australia, with the Hutchinsons. Our next episode with John Hutchinson and his lovely wife Nancy Hutchinson is confirmed for this Thursday evening, my time, Friday morning, Australia time, and it's on the next in the series of the crystal battery builds. Real free energy for all of you and me, and I'm actually going to be making my own first crystal battery in this episode. We're going to have John on and Nancy Hutchinson on for 2 to 3 hours time, where we will be going over how to build the batteries themselves, their own experiences with them, as well as for the first time, the Hutchinson's going to delve a bit into their more advanced versions called the Johnny tubes, which is a more refined version of the raw basic crystal batteries, as well as hopefully also be talking about what they dubbed Johnny's balls, which were spherical ball-shaped crystal batteries that Nancy mentioned. In the ball shape, these battery cells somehow are able to operate both on the AC or DC as well as AC, which alternating current coming out of a battery cell is freaking fascinating. So for anyone out there that understands a bit of electrical engineering or interested in the Hutchinson effect, John Hutchinson's work, and or energy independence, your own free green energy, and at the very least backup batteries that never go bad and last forever, I will be teaching, well, I will be building, and the Hutchinsons will be teaching how to make the crystal battery cells. And this should be Thursday evening, North America, Friday morning or afternoon, Australia time. And this is after the Wednesday with Old World Florida, myself and Cambell. Zertis also does MK Canada. I co-host with him every Thursday evening as well. So first it'll be MK Canada with Zertis on Thursday, and then after that we will be doing the Hutchinson Real Science crystal battery cell build. Please subscribe to my Burn Eye Minds Third Eye Science Guy channel. I just posted the link in the live chat for that one last time. Also my Crypto Alchemist channel on YouTube if you have not yet. I do appreciate it all, as I am suppressed by the algorithms. They have not let me gain 1 subscriber in the last month. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I appreciate everything that helps, and also check that YouTube has not unsubscribed you from my channels. If you are a subscriber and haven't noticed any of my videos popping up lately, quite possible you have been unsubscribed as well. Lastly, I desperately need, please, all of you beautiful souls to subscribe to my Odyssey channel, and which I'm also posting in the chat right now, because I need to gain 100 subscribers, which I am below on Odyssey, to be able to live stream to it, as well as my Rumble channel. I also desperately need subscribers for to be able to reach 100 subscribers on Rumble, to be able to also live stream to Rumble. And like I said, we will be doing after party streams once we're up live streaming to Rumble and Odyssey going forward, that after the official 2-hour stream are done, that it will continue for a little bit extra uncensored, amazing raw after party streams on the Rumble and the Odyssey accounts. And here is my Rumble. Just like I have already started doing, and we did this past Saturday with the Science of Sound stream on my Twitch. And lastly, I shall post my Twitch account as well. So for all on Twitch, please also subscribe over there if you haven't already done so, as we are currently also live on my Twitch channel. And you never know when specific after streams continue on the Twitch channel once it ends on YouTube. Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it. I truly do love all of you awesome beings and beautiful souls out there. Even those who don't like me, I still love you, because that's the right thing to do. Hate gets us nowhere, and division, divide and conquer. That's how the parasites and the elites keep control, and it's how we get screwed. And unity is the only way forward for us to succeed, and that's what all of this is about, is being unified together, working together, bringing forward these free energy designs, building them together, getting the information out there, doing the research and information, figuring out the real history of humanity, what actually happened, discussing it together, and getting it all out. Because without it, if we don't know our past, how are we ever going to make an honest future? And that's all there is to it. If you're living a lie, all you will ever know is a lie. And we all are so much more than that. And I, for one, see and plan and actively work every day towards a better future for myself and those around me, and hopefully as many of you do the same, because there's nobody else is going to do it other than you and me, and that's all there is to it. So I love you all. We will see you on the next one. I might have a stream tomorrow with Zertis, but I'm not sure. He was sick, thus he wasn't able to make it today, and that's why the original stream with Old World Florida and one-on-one didn't happen with Zertis. Then I tried to make it work with Old World Florida and Cambell for tonight, but it was too late for Dr. Longo by that point, and thus he rescheduled for 2 days from now, which we will be doing. And until then, we'll see you on the next one. Also have Paul Cook, myself, and Cambell coming up by the end of this week. It should be, and we're going to be talking about old world technology. Paul Cook has an order that will be ready for this episode, an old electric healing device, where it's an electricity healing device, fairly similar to some of the naturopathy energy devices of today. So we're going to go over that. We'll be going over the geopolymer technology and so much more, as well as hopefully I'm able to get a hold of Dutch Since, in that he is free to come on and finally do what will be one of the most epic interviews of the year, if not the decade. I'm sure it will probably break the internet. Until then, may you all have a blessed week, day, and life. health and happiness to you, your loved ones, your families, your friends. Tomorrow, I'm going to be spending the day filling out this freaking cannabis licensing AGLC license so I can get a job. But I just posted one last time my PayPal link for anybody able and willing to support, help fund my research and work. It is always super greatly appreciated. It's only possible thanks to all of your generosity and support. And like I said, I just got in the new computer from exactly that support of your guys' and girls' donations. So it will be up and operating for the next one. And hopefully within the next week or two, I will be able to afford some video editing software and start making some decent short videos, as well as what the heck? Oh, my new cell phone also that I bought thanks to your donations on Black Friday. I also purchased it and got it in a refurbished Samsung 20. So it should supposedly have some of the nicest video ever and pictures that I will be able to also start using. I'm just in the process. I organized all of my photos and experiments, electrolysis, cold fusion, alchemy, photos of my experiments from my phone. Now I just have to transfer them over to the hard drive computer to back them up. And then I will be putting my SIM card into my new phone. And by the next stream, we will have 2 upgraded pieces of equipment for much better quality continuation of streams and videos. Yes, sorry, my website is currently the sales part doesn't work on it. It should still let you browse through the different designs and whatnot, but as far as sales and inventory, no, that's another thing that my broke ass needs to raise some money to finish paying for my web builder to finish and get working. It's all just the COVID lockdown screwed everything up so much, where it's like I've got $200K worth of equipment, inventory, and everything just sitting in a freaking storage garage, costing me money instead of making me money or giving me the opportunity to work and make my own money with. And instead, I'm currently 2 months behind, and no, 2.5 months. Shit, I'm $500 Canadian in debt just on my storage unit. So that's actually my top priority, and why I have to get a part-time job is I need to come up with 500 Canadian to pay off my landlord in the next 2 weeks, so that I don't get evicted from my storage unit and lose my livelihood. Well, my livelihood, I guess, is cut right now, but the wealth of it, I don't know, materials, whatever. I can't lose my equipment, can't lose my blanks. I need to make the money to pay my behind rent, and then I need to start saving to be able to actually afford a place to set up again to actually start doing prints. But I still have lots of prints, clothing available in my current inventory, and anybody interested in purchasing some of my clothing, email me, and anybody who donates $50 or more and willing to pay the shipping will get a shirt of their choice from the inventory that I have. All right, so that's enough rambling for me. 3 hours, 43 minutes, 48 seconds. Love you all. We will catch you on the next one. Thank you for staying with us. You're all awesome. Get a real job. Like, Yes, that's why I'm talking about how I'm doing my course tomorrow to get the license to be able to get hired to get the real job. Because printing clothing orders isn't a real job. No, running an actual business isn't a real job. Yeah, all right. Anywho. Yeah. Oh, calling me that. All right. What channel are you on? You're getting booted. That's just rude. So, insulting is one thing, but using derogatory terms like that's just disgusting. All right. Boop-a-doo. Boop-boo. Yeah, I do get triggered when people attack me and insult me. Yeah, it's usually what happens. Anywho, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna leave it on a more positive note, not let some loser affect it. But I do love you all, and even the douchebag. I won't block you because better to love. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Until the next one, bye-bye.